gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́ nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́mọ pẹ́rẹ́ àmì padà ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ àdàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mi àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ lè mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba gbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró ń títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wá lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
KOIKIMEDIA, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ ìníhùn ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó lórí kodò bí àdó ọ̀pẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣègìrì ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀ ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀ àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
KOIKIMEDIA àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé gbúgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. KOIKIMEDIA ọlọ́lá gbajúmọ̀ mi o máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gbàjòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀ àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ́ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koiki Media ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kan gígo lára ni.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Òdúdúwà la gbé dání òtítọ́ la gbé dání.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀ a kì í sọdí kẹta.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán a tún pèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
Give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us
And a very good afternoon and welcome to 29th of April 2024. It is a countdown to the end of the month. As the year is winding down, we continue to give thanks to the God of the Yoruba land for giving us the strength and for giving us the knowledge and for guiding us. Mo kí gbogbo wa pátápátá níbi tí a bá wà káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Mo kí àtòbíbi lọ́mọ pé ẹ̀kọ́ àdúrótì. Mo kí fámílì mi fún àdúrótì. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yàn ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko láàyò ẹnìkankan sílẹ̀. I will not be mentioning your name because there's no time. There's a serious business on the table and there's a lot of things to cover because I've not been around for some time. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí mo fi sí Elédùmarè mo fi kí wa nílànà ti ẹ̀sìn Islam pé assalamu alaikum mo kí gbogbo àwọn Kristẹni pátápátá. Freedom is not something that we can just go and buy from Tesco. It would have been very easy if we have that such an option. Since the freedom we why we will continue to ask for negotiation of the Yoruba people from Nigeria with the present administration is because it is the normal thing to do under international law. If we are not going in accordance with the international law, there are so many other ways that we can do it. But because I should follow through the international law, and I'm going to be speaking a lot of English, please do not direct me to speak in Yoruba because I'm not speaking to you alone. I am speaking to an international audience. So when we ask for freedom, I'm going to play that video back again. The Scotland are doing the same thing. They want to exit the Union of 1701. So it's not that it is new that people that have been merged together for reasons that probably as at that time was okay. Okay. But when we fast forward things right now, the Scottish people are not satisfied with the union with the Great Britain. But let me first appreciate Professor Adebanji Akintoye. As a journalist, I am not a blogger. Please never classify me as one. I am not one of your copy and paste media. We are a proper, fully organized media. I have 25 teams working in Africa, and I have multiple that are working as freelance for me. Some of them are not getting paid, but they are working for me. This KOIKIMEDIA is a fully registered organization. KOIKIMEDIA is not the official spokesperson for the YSDM. The YSDM is the Yoruba self-determination movement that directs and tell us what to do and what we should be doing in accordance to the law of United Nations Charter, African Charter, and even the 1999 fraudulent Constitution. So when some of you that are probably watching me for the very first time, and you are probably upset because you see this, you will be seeing this a lot. It might not be pleased with you. And I'm responding to some of those of you that follow my platform. Let's watch it again. I'm going to let the video roll without the audio. What you're watching right there are people that are concerned. Àwọn tó wà concerned, báwa náà ṣe wà concerned gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá. Àwọn tó wà concerned gẹ́gẹ́ bí Olóyè Ìgbòho ṣe wà concerned. Ẹ rí pé kò ń ṣe Africa làwọn lè wà. They are living in a very confined, beautiful location called Scotland. And as I speak to you right now, I believe, if I'm right, the Prime Minister, for the First Minister of Scotland, a 39-year-old young man called Uzan Yusuf, is currently resigned. I can now confirm officially almost 39 years old. But many of almost 39 years old, as I speak to you today, still lives with their family. And I'm going to bring that up today because there's a breaking news that I'm going to link with that. So what you're watching right now is the Scottish people. Okay, I didn't make that to look. So let's bring that back. So what you're going to be seeing now is their First Minister, almost 39 years old. I am far older than him. We don't control Scotland until today, Oti resigned, which is normal thing that they do in the UK and around the world, apart from Africa. So some of us, when we sit here, you see us as the enemies of the contraction that Britain kept together for their own benefit and is going to crumble. How it's going to crumble is what the process tí Baba Akintoye gbé lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ àti YSDF. So what I'm going to bring to date for us to see is to watch the news. Let's remove, or let's put this a little bit to a smaller scale, because I want us to understand that asking for Yoruba nation, tí Afenifere, I'm very probably not upset with them, but I'm just trying to find out why they are going to be part of those that wants to stop what is the legitimate right of the Yoruba people. They have the right to continue to push for restructuring. Nobody's stopping them. But I want us to remember, and this is the latest news coming up right now, Umsa Yusuf resigned as the Scotland First Minister. Eji arákùnrin Tenri, this man, gbogbo age leni, is 39 years old. He was born in 1985. Many ọmọ Yorùbá tó bí sílẹ̀ Yorùbá ní 1985 ó sì ń ṣàgbé, kò ráyé gbé, but kò mọ purpose tí kò ṣe rí ayé gbé. Àwa la wá fẹ́ redefine purpose yẹn fún, but ó ń disagree pẹ̀lú wa pé àwa gangan ní problem. But we can understand the level of poverty that has been created in that contraction. Àwọn tí arákùnrin tó ń govern yìí ní Scotland, àwọn ni wọ́n protest ẹ̀ rí nísàlẹ̀ yẹn, even though pé wọ́n ní gbogbo facilities tó lè last one for the next thousands of years, but they are not satisfied as indigenous people, and that is why they are using their voice. Nítorí pé wọ́n níbọn, kò ń ṣe pé Scotland ò níbọn, but ìbọn wà yẹn, ìbọn tó ní ó wà under control United Kingdom, and that is the reason why Scotland is making the push through a non-violent, which is exactly what Baba Akintoye is presenting. Mo kàn fẹ́ link eléyìí because it is also a developing story as I speak to us today. This man tẹ̀ ń wò yìí, òun ni first minister, not prime minister. The UK prime minister yàtọ̀ sí ẹni tó ń control Scotland. Scotland has its own parliament, just like bá ṣe ní Western region tẹ́lẹ̀. Every age yẹn, let me take us back to some of the ages. Arákùnrin tó ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ rí, Alex Salmon, 69 years old. Èyí tó resign before ilé is 53 years old. Èyí tó máa gbà nísìn ó lè jẹ́ ọmọ 22. But the problem is ọmọ Yorùbá ò ní làákàyè, àwọn tó ń sọ pé ká keep Nigeria, wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n ní ever dé position president because cabal ló rule Nigeria. But they are okay to criticize Baba Akintoye and Igboho when a 39-year-old man is in charge until Eni ló resign. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wò bí a lè gbọ́ audio yẹn jáde. Let's see if we can hear something. Okay, I have a video that is coming up. I think it's still live. I don't know when, how it's. This country, we can do so much more. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic. Ìwọ tó ń gbọ́ mi, mo kàn fẹ́ kó wò ó pé ṣé mi náà lè dàbí arákùnrin tá bá gba Yorùbá country, tá bá dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè tí wọ́n ń polongo ẹ̀ yìí. Àbí mo fẹ́ dé olòṣì tí mo sì máa wà nínú Nàìjíríà at 50 years old, because ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ olòṣì tó ti pé 60 ṣì wà nínú Nàìjíríà tó jẹ́ àwọn ọkùnrin obìnrin tó sì sọ pé ká keep Nàìjíríà. Àwọn kan dẹ̀ ti wà in their 90s. Ara wọn ni àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re, because tí kò bá ṣe pé olòṣì wà láàrin wọn ni àwọn tí wọ́n ń pera wọn pé ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n rí vision but àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re náà wọ́n rí vision. Ìyẹn mo ṣe ń béèrè pé ta ló wà upset? Who is upset with Baba Akintoye with a letter that was projected to President Bola Tinubu? Part of negotiation ni bó bá wọn Tinubu kó dá wa lóhùn tó bá wọn kó má dá wa lóhùn. Gbogbo ẹnu lèmi fi sọ ìyàwó mi wà kò fẹ́ kí n gbé ẹnu mi lọ sí láìní yẹn. A máa ń jà tí bá parí program. Ìjà la máa fi parí nǹkan tó wà lẹ́yìn. Ìjà la máa fi parí ẹ̀ tí kò bá tí negotiation yẹn bá fail. But negotiation ṣì ń lọ kò tí ì fail. Àwọn olórí burúkú Afẹ́nifẹ́re tẹ̀ ní ṣàǹfààní gbogbo yín látòkè délẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń jẹ́ kí ẹ máa sọ fún wa pé àní làákàyè ẹ wá ń antagonize pé a gbé lẹ́tà lọ bá Tinubu. Ṣé ìjà ni ká gbé lọ bá Tinubu ni? Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ ká gbé ìjà lọ bá Tinubu gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá nígbà tá a sì lè lo negotiation gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá tóun náà jẹ́? Ó máa gbọ́ kò ní gbọ́ problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. But ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí Umsa Yusuf, a 39 years old former nísìn first minister, ayé tí ọmọ Scotland gbé bàbá ẹ tó gbé tó fi kú kò gbérú ẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà. Ìwọ náà tí gbérú ẹ̀. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń pariwo pé ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà kí a lè rí ayé mi gbé. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yóò mọ̀ pé Scotland tó fẹ́ lọ lẹ́ni nísìn wọ́n máa wà independent. Tó bá gba visa lẹ́ni nísìn visa yẹn wà control láti UK. But tí Scotland bá ti dá dúró ó ṣeéṣe kó máa fún gbogbo wa ní visa ká lè wọ Scotland better than pé o fẹ́ wọ UK lọ. But olórí burúkú púpọ̀ nu yóò ní understanding pé as an independent country you have access to Scotland nígbà tí Scotland bá jẹ́ independent country. But right now Scotland wà lábẹ́ union. Àwọn kọ́ ló make gbogbo decision. Scotland ò agree pé kó fáwọn èèyàn lọ sí Rwanda. But UK ní òun wà okay pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ìyẹn England. So many of you doesn't seem to understand why we want Yoruba nation. Ẹ kò rò pa kàn bá sórí social media kan pariwo. Àwọn ará Scotland tó ń pariwo wọ́n mọ̀ pé táwọn bá gba resources wọn padà energy bill wọn máa drop, life wọn máa wà better ju bó ṣe wà lọ lábẹ́ UK tó kó gbogbo wọn sí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká mute mic ká gbọ́n tí bí ó ṣe resign ní ọ̀sán yìí ká tó máa bá program wọn lọ.
Because after all, they exist for the same reasons we do.
And arguably the Greens too. You're happy to attack them.
Well, honestly, to last week,
Then,
who has been with us, is now there with
in his government, all the main
Don to solve the issue. He's fundamentally capable of leading his country. This phase of this political crisis began when Hunter Youssef expelled the Scottish Greens from his coalition government. But in truth, you can trace the problems he now faces all the way back to the day Nicola Sturgeon was forced to quit as First Minister herself after the police investigation into the SNP's finances, and you can connect it to the policies he inherited from her. Policies of the then Scottish coalition government to extend trans rights and to adopt, don't they? Because listen to and do a deal with Albert, and he isn't. So given what you just heard from the Greens, and that he's not interested in a deal with Albert, the numbers don't add up. That means he would lose a vote of confidence, and in that position, if you were him this morning, I wonder he might consider resignation in advance of that. So I think that is a very real prospect that he decides to go, and Scotland and the SNP find themselves wrestling with the idea of a new leader, a new First Minister. And then the difficulties start, don't they? Because they can't easily go to the woman, that he beat in that contest. One of them left the party altogether, and And the other
All right, we're gonna just move forward because the most important thing is he has actually resigned. That is the man that we're talking about. This man, he has resigned, and the world is not coming to an end. But you cannot get Africans to get to this stage to resign. They are not going to resign. They are monsters because the structure the British created in Africa, ó yàtọ̀ sí structure táwọn fi operate in Europe. So it's two different things. So in the civilized world, when things are not going the right way, you resign. But it is not going to be the same. But when we get to a Yoruba country, this is exactly what we expect Yoruba politicians to do in the future. When things are not meant to be, resign and let the party that is going to take over or whoever is going to take over. But in Nigeria today, you will not get such. Okay? Let's continue because of the time. So I'm going to come out of the screen because we haven't get to all this stage yet. My name is OLAYOMI Koiki, and if you're new to the platform, we welcome you. Let me say clearly, for those that are probably, maybe you are one of my followers, I don't trust anybody. That's number one, okay? So don't think that you can buy my loyalty. Look, I am dealing with a lot of things that many of you are not dealing with. More anybody read or a program láti mọ́ra wa rí. So I have every right to disagree with some of your comments sometimes, especially when I'm doing my program. And then what is more concerned to you is my insult to the monsters that has been created. That means that you are not going to be part of this program. I will take you out. I will take you out. It doesn't matter who you are. Because I don't understand why my insult to those that have created problems in our life is the one that many of you are more concerned about. We are concerned about Yaya Bello tó jí owó tó pọ̀ tó bà ayé àwọn èèyàn jẹ́. You are not concerned about that. I'm going to read the letter from Professor Adebanji Akintoye. It's about 9 pages. I've printed it out. So it might take some time. Because without this letter, how do we even understand what we are dealing with? Without this letter, we need to first understand kí ló mú reaction wá lórí letter tí Baba Akintoye kọ. Is there something in there? Is there just something in there in that letter that is becoming uncomfortable for people that have used the same language of restructuring for 30 years? We are now bringing a different narrative, a right to self-determination. The right to self-determination. And we are now seeing people attacking us back. That for me, I don't understand. And so self-determination làwa fẹ́. Ẹ̀yin ní ẹ fẹ́ restructure. Okay, that's fine. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wá ṣì máa negotiate pẹ̀lú Tinubu. Ó máa fún wa, kò ní fún wa, no problem. But we will continue to negotiate with him. Tó bá fún wa, bonus ni. Tó bá fún wa, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ló máa rí the end result ẹ̀. Because ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀, gbogbo wa ló máa jẹ breakfast. Àtẹni tó wà labroad, àtẹni tó wà nílé, tí Tinubu bá lè lọ ṣe tán, tí a dé at least half of the destination, if not the full. Ká máa rí pé yes, Tinubu ti negotiate pẹ̀lú wa, or àwa tí ń wá bá ṣe pé exit. And I'm not talking about the exit of gbogbo nonsense tó dá sílẹ̀ ní game tí wọ́n play, tí game yẹn ti wind down nísìn, tójú gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ti ń ká báyìí. I am not here to talk about that because for me, I cannot be burning my energy for stupidity. I would rather burn that energy for you to understand that there is a difference between Tabanso Kunyipe, Yoruba country, and Faye. There is still room for negotiation. Till the stage, they be pay, I pay your Bonsirawa. We don't even have to go through that stage if we don't have to. But the problem is that some people don't want us to go through the negotiation. They just want us to go and jump from the top. oh, kakolo dájà sílẹ̀. Okay, taba dájà sílẹ̀, a sì máa padà sí negotiation. While there is still room for negotiation, why do we have to avoid that? Even if I continue to say that is not my own view, but for the fact that there is a room for negotiation, you will allow negotiation to continue. America negotiates with their enemies. America negotiates with their enemies. And there's no reason why the Yorubas cannot negotiate. So for those of us that are saying that, oh, Yoruba nation is in peju, or no Yoruba nation, some people need to understand that negotiation is not done overnight. You have to continue to negotiate until you are able to grasp something. And that is why, before we go into that letter, let me say, it's been a couple of days now, and I've been really away with so many other things that I should have catch up with some of the programs. I finished the program and we went off air. But let me see if I can find it, because I was meant to really talk about it, especially when it comes to self-determination. Gbogbo program tó bá ti relate on self-determination, especially táwọn tí wọ́n ní understanding in tó tẹ̀ ń pè ní United Nations. Ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ mọ́ understanding rárá. So what we're going to have to do, while I'm going to be looking for that, mama sọ̀rọ̀, mo wá kankan ní background mi. Mo fẹ́ padà lọ sí fídíò tí ó jáde lórí first post lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Palestine máa lọ kò ní lọ tí America veto ní United Nations. Ẹlòmíì kò ń gbọ́ United Nations. Kò mọ̀ tó ń pè ní United Nations. United Nations sọ pé kíyàn lọ ya picture níwájú United Nations o, ó sọ pé ti gba country o. You be very stupid. I saw, people that you would think that they have brains, and then they can use that to want to deceive intelligent people. Láti sọ pé wọ́n ti gba country so that wọ́n lọ jókòó síwájú UN, wọ́n wá ya picture, and ṣe protest. Those are normal things that is allowed around the world if you live in a civilized society. Nigeria ni kò ní allow it. So sitting inside a United Nation, or outside rather, a United Nation building, and then taking pictures and send that on the social media, and then you now use that to say, oh, àti lọ sí United Nation, wọ́n dẹ̀ ti accept wa. I want us to go back. I want to take you to something that I want us to listen to. But mo wá video yẹn because it's been a while now. But I'm going to find it on the first post behind the screen. And I want us to see how Palestine was actually rejected by the United Nations, by the United States of America, by not supporting them. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí kò bá ti dé United Nations Security Council, which Yoruba nation has not yet got into. If anybody is telling you otherwise, ẹni yẹn kàn sọ jágajàgba ni kò mọ tó ń sọ lẹ́nu. But you can't blame people that doesn't even have access to internet, not to talk about access to the basic things of life. Many Yoruba people are deluded. Many of you are living in illusion. Many of you want a country. There's no doubt about it. But because you are impatient, wọ́n ti wá fi oríṣiríṣi rọ́, especially àwọn tó gbérọ́ kalẹ̀ fún yín lẹ́nujọ́ mẹ́ta. Let's find it this way. They've deceived you. US veto Palestine. Wọ́n ti wá gbérọ́ fún yín. So many of you now automatically now accept lies. Irọ́ yẹn ti wá di bárakú. So when some of us are now here sitting down and telling you that, oh, bó ṣe ń gba country kan nìyẹn, then they will now tell you, oh, ẹ wá sọ bó ṣe ń gba country power. And you can tell that some of them are crazy, very, very crazy individuals. Let me bring the video. The video is out there. I'm going to show us the video. But the analysis that was done on a particular first post, it was well detailed. Because if we are able to understand kilo de fa ti America blockade is because of so many things that they are not probably comfortable with. But we understand that many of Yoruba people turn on fair country, just like me. If you do not push for negotiation, then you must be preparing for war. And when you prepare for war, you must have everything within your hand. Láti fẹ́ fi ja ogun yẹn. But at the fact that you don't have that yet, you will push for negotiation. While the negotiation is going on, you will continue to lobby around the world. And while you continue to lobby, hopefully, you will get what you want. But one thing is, nobody should deceive you. That way, country kan ti dé tó ti wà in existence right now. Don't pè ní Yoruba nation. The Yoruba is not yet officially a country. I'm not going to be arguing with idiots that are sitting on the social media because they can just speak. Àti sọ̀rọ̀ kọ́ ló matter. Àti lè ronú deep nípa kí ni country yẹn ṣe fẹ́ wáyé. Tó bá dẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ, kí làwọn ìlànà tẹ́ máa rí. If you have not seen any of such, and you are still one of those that have been deceived by a country, then you can never come out of that bondage for a very long time. And I understand many of you will be probably not comfortable, but there is nothing I can say to that. Your comfortable is not what we are looking for. The reality is what we need. There is difference between reality and delusion. Many Yoruba people need to understand that we are fighting something that is going to go a long way, that will change the future. Many countries around the world will block it, and they will block it with everything that they want, especially tó bá rí pé irú táwa ń jà fún yìí in tó máa mú àṣeyọrí wá fún ìran wa lọ́jọ́ iwájú ni. But because wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ìran kan dìde, if you think that the world wants kí ìran kan kó dìde, wọ́n fẹ́ kí ìran kan kó dìde, àwa la máa dìde, but a máa kọ́kọ́ ṣe internal, which is what we are dealing right now. The United Nations will tell you to go and deal with it internally before you can even come to them. That is why Baba Akintoye has written a fantastic letter. And I'm going to bring that letter up, like I said, in just about a few minutes. If I can't find that video in this particular program, I will prepare it ready for the next program because it's probably slowing us a little bit down. But like I said, I will just show you just how the United States was able to veto what could have led to Palestine being a member, a member, but we know that that didn't happen and the world has not come to an end. I understand many of you are eager to have a country, but don't be stupid. Stupidity, ó yàtọ̀ sí ọgbọ́n. If you look at the screen, the US has vetoed a Palestine request to the United Nations Security Council. United Nations Security Council kò ṣe pé kíyàn lọ ya picture níwájú UN building and you post it online and you tell people lies pé àti gba country, or you put out a billboard advert when it is not even one of the most fantastic billboard. I believe is the NFL football is one of the most highest adverts tó máa ń ṣe. Tó bá tẹ̀lé pé bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́gbẹ́ advert lọ ní àbátẹ̀sọ pé advert yẹn ó máa rìnlẹ̀. You got a van, you're driving the van around, and you are then telling the world that ẹ ti gba country. Àwọn wo lẹ sọ fún yẹn? Let me say this again. Nobody has got a country yet. Not even up to the membership. America ló veto Palestine. just about 2 weeks ago. Let's watch the video.
Need music for digital ads, live events, or broadcasts? All rights included for one flat fee, no negotiation. Will those in favor of the draft resolution
contained in document S/2024/312 please raise their hand. Those against? Thank you. Abstentions?
Those against, America was against it. Abstention, Sherry, there's a country that I live in called United Kingdom. Tọ́bání ìlú tó jẹ́ ṣekúṣẹyẹ ni wọ́n. Àwọn máa ń fàtẹ́gùn sí nǹkan ni. Wọ́n wá kàdé mẹ́yìn. Wọ́n vote against, wọ́n wà absent. You can tell that wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn mọ opinion wọn délẹ̀ lórí ìgbésẹ̀ yẹn. And this is why, if you think that as much as our presence in UK, there's nothing wrong in that. It's good to to create the awareness by telling Yoruba people to be in the UK and non-Yorubas about Yoruba nation. But the real person that is often only president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is why a letter was initiated, and the letter was sent to President Bola Tinubu. But for the fact that Atuwani lára àwọn kan ló wá, Tawani no, letter tẹ́ kọ sí Tinubu yẹn kò ní lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o, àwa wà against it. Why are they against the letter? So in tó expect ni pé kákọ̀ máa pariwo Yorùbá nation lórí social media, ká má ní real engagement. You must have a real engagement. Tí lè ní real engagement tó máa dé Security Council gẹ́gẹ́ bí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń rí ní àtàrà ìbíbà. If you're expecting pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation máa dé Security Council anytime soon, is a lie. And I'm telling us now, our message of Yoruba nation kò ní wọnú Security Council, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because did this stage débi pé Security Council lè bá wa wá wo kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nísàlẹ̀. We are doing the needful. We've wrote a letter. The letter has been submitted. Our job now is to start looking into that letter, the content of the letter. Kí ló kọ síbẹ̀? Ṣé Abu Tinubu níbẹ̀ ni? Okay. Kí la sọ sínú letter yẹn? What are the things written in that letter? All these, many Yoruba people know that the fact that a letter has now been initiated to the current president means a lot of message. That is why tí Afenifere fi dìde láti fẹ́ counter ẹ̀, because Afenifere ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ó jẹ́ pé Yoruba nation movement ló máa gbẹnu ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ when they have failed on their own part. They've actually failed, and I'm telling you that. They failed. The reason why they failed is because they are not one as one body. Afenifere ti pín sí méjì. So we don't even know which of the Afenifere gangan ló kọ lẹ́tà sí jáde padà. Bí àtàwọn ta fi fashion rántí ni, bí àti version ni Prof Adebanji ni, I don't know. But I'm also being told internally, and I'm telling you, I don't have a fact of this, but àwọn kan sọ pé wọ́n bára wọn jà nínú pé kí ló dé tó gbèrú lẹ́tà yẹn jáde láti wá sọ̀rọ̀ against ìtawà ń béèrè fún. That is what I don't understand. But let me say this again. America to veto Palestine, they have a reason. UK to absent, they have a reason. Switzerland to absent, they have a reason. But many countries supported it.
nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá ń bú joyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bó mo pera mi padà ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan àwọn ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè ò lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn ra wọn ra pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbààgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ àdàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ́n fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mi àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ lè mi mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé.
And welcome back once again. My name is OLAYOMI Koiki, and we're looking into who is upset and told that they've suspended Prof Adebanji, but he still continues to act as the leader of Afenifere. So you can tell that even the Afenifere are not united. It's a divided social political party, or social political group rather, not party. They are fully divided. Professionally supported and endorsed Tinubu towards the election. So if that is the fraction of the Afenifere coming out to debunk or criticize the letter that we've sent to Tinubu, as everybody have their right, it is their right to come out and say, we are not, or I don't know how the letter came, but I've been able to pick something that says, Professor Akintoye replies, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. The leader of Ilanomo Odua, Professor Akintoye, has disagreed with the leaders of Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization, Afenifere, on restructuring. My question, Timothy Jeki Gbomo Yoruba, Musi Owo, and I want us to write this down and save it. Today is the 29th. I want us to save this question because we will come back to this question even as we continue to negotiate. The Yoruba will negotiate with Tinubu regardless of whoever is in charge of Afenifere, because Afenifere is no longer speaking for all the Yorubas anymore. They are still speaking for part of Yorubas, but they have actually failed. So if Professionality thinks he's speaking to me, they are not speaking to me. They are literally not speaking to me. They are not speaking to the people that believe in self-determination. But they might be speaking to people that believe in restructuring. There's nothing wrong in that. But more be Bobomo Yoruba, regardless of your take, whether you are with the Afenifere, whether you are with Baba Akintoye, or whether you are just one of those in the middle. The big question is, will President Bola Tinubu restructure Nigeria back to the regional government? See, I'm Baba Ife. I'm going to ask that question again. The big question, will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu restructure Nigeria back to regional government before his tenure? We will wait for that to see if it's going to happen. But that is not going to stop the Yoruba people under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye, that the Yoruba will exit Nigeria with the negotiation with Tinubu because tó bá jẹ́ pé dá ìjà sílẹ̀ then àmọ́ tá a máa ṣe àníní láti kọ lẹ́tà. But for the fact that we are still writing letters, which is the diplomatic way to do things, which is the normal legal way to do things, which is part of what the YSDM believes in, that the objectives of the YSDM will continue to engage both the federal, the outside world in regarding our quest on reason why the Yoruba people must exit Nigeria. And if we go back and look at the objectives of the YSDM is the movement, the Yoruba self-determination movement, but Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà, who Baba Akintoye founded after the whole Yoruba World Congress was almost hijacked from him by the same set of Chief Tola Adeniyi and the rest of those crazy men. Àwọn àgbàlagbà tá rò pé àgbàlagbà ni wọ́n, àṣìwọ́n agenda míì. People that we thought that they have good agenda for the Yoruba people, but their agenda is always about the political line. Àwọn ò ní agenda pé ìran Yorùbá fẹ́ kúrò lóòótọ́, wọ́n wà in between, ìran Yorùbá máa lọ, but wọ́n wá play politics. And this is the reason why self-determination is a stand alone. Tó bá ní nǹkan stand alone, in tó dá dúró, òun ni wọ́n ń pè ní self-determination. In tí kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ ìdìbò. I am still saying some of my uncles that are crazy. Some of them are crazy because they're about crazy ni. You'll be telling us, Mokia Tobimilomo, welcome on board. You'll be telling us to go and form a political party. By forming a political party, we can use that to drive the Yoruba nation message. Nígbà tí ọ̀nà wà tí wọ́n gbé kalẹ̀ láti lè gba Yorùbá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà through self-determination. I am still getting one or two messages from crazy, ó dà nǹkan ti pẹ́ l'Amẹ́ríkà. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti pẹ́ l'Amẹ́ríkà yẹn, oríṣiríṣi atẹ́gùn ti fẹ́ sí wọn lórí, so wọ́n ò lè think fúnra wọn mọ́. How can someone say ká lọ form political party? So tá bá ti form political party tán, by then we will have access to what? Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí arákùnrin send sí mi níjọ́ Saturday. Ó pè rẹ̀ ní Emmanuel Banjoko. He's somewhere in America. Hi Koiki. If you want Yoruba nation by 2027, that is 3 years away. This is what you need to use your forum to achieve. You have Chief Sunday Igboho. You have Igboho supporters in the millions. You have to turn these supporters into a viable political force by telling them to support Yoruba nation goals. You have to gain political power by this in all Yoruba states by contesting for elections. Without elections, you cannot get power. Once you win power from the rogue governors, now you can use the power to control Yoruba destiny. You can see that we have crazy people. Thank you so much, Peter Pan, for the super chat. But there's nothing wrong when Afenifere says àwọn fẹ́ restructure torí pé in tí wọ́n lọ bá Tinubu sọ nìyẹn. Whether Tinubu gives them that or not is not my concern. But we know that Tinubu is another fraudulent Yoruba man that plays his card by using different means to play that card. He has done that in the past. I will not be surprised he'll be doing it again. Especially ambition Tinubu Otiton. He might tell you that he wants one term. Tinubu is already driving the market for the next term, which is another ambition to become the next president after 2027. Tinubu sì fẹ́ ṣe president Nigeria after 2027. So ẹ wo gbogbo Fáṣọ̀rántì tí ló lọ sí Aso Rock. Òun ni Tinubu máa accept torí pé àwọn ni wọ́n endorse Tinubu. But the question is that we have all these old guards, thinking that they are bigger, powerful than us. Most I'm talking about the politicians. But one thing we need to understand is that Baba Akintoye mọ̀ pé violence ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọnú nǹkan tá gbé dání. If we want to continue to have the face of the international world, with violence ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọnú ẹ̀. Because Baba Akintoye mọ̀ pé in tó bá ti lè gbé violence wọnú Yoruba nation, the international world will not listen to us from behind the door. See what in bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. And this is the reason why a letter was initiated. But why the Afenifere now thinks that àwọn làwọn máa wá sọ fáwa pé letter wo lẹ ń kọ sí Tinubu? What letter are you writing to Bola Tinubu? When táwa ti lọ bá yín bá Tinubu sọ̀rọ̀, even though the negotiation tó bá lọ is not fruitful, because Tinubu told them he would not be able to divide the country. He told them point blank. But the work of the YSDF, because many people are mixing my platform with the YSDF, and I'm saying this in response to one of my videos, the last video I produced sometime before I went on a short break. Bóyá account number ilẹ̀ ní yẹn rí ló fọ́ lórí ni mò ń bọ̀. Let me tell that individual, and if you're one of those or multiple of you like that, KOIKIMEDIA is an independent media, and it remains so under the laws of the United Kingdom. And that literally means that KOIKIMEDIA will use this platform as it wishes to, whether to collect donation for that KOIKIMEDIA. It has nothing to do with Yoruba nation. For those that gives, it is voluntary. For those that doesn't give, we say thank you. And for many that continue to give, we are grateful. But I got this message, and I'm going to read it out, from someone who called Sama Bamadia 2842. This was about 9 days ago. And it goes like this. Good day, Mr. Koiki. Sorry, I don't know your real name. My real name is OLAYOMI Koiki. I'm surprised that many of you doesn't even know my real name. I am not using AKA. I've never used it. I know people call me White Lion, but I still want to be known as my full name for the future. So that tí ọba sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá ní ọjọ́ ọ̀la, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ máa dárúkọ mi délẹ̀ pé arákùnrin náà wà lára ohun tí ó ṣiṣẹ́. Do not send any request. You will not be invited onto the request for those of you that are listening. It's a platform to listen. And if you're not very comfortable, you have the right to walk away. Good day, Mr. Koiki. As someone interested in Yoruba nation, many people are interested and many people have dropped out. There are many crazy Yoruba people that are not going to accept that Yoruba people need to be free from the bondage. Do we blame them? No. It's just because they are crazy. They cannot understand the difference between poverty and the liberation. I'm talking about people like crazy like Seun Kuti Omani. Tó ń sọ pé kí Igboho máa bọ̀ nílé kó wá máa jà nínú Nàìjíríà. Bàbá ẹ̀ tó pa tí Nàìjíríà gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì pa àti ìyá ẹ̀ tí Nàìjíríà gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì pa. Music ẹ̀ mélòó ló fi jà fún lẹ́yìn bàbá pa wọ́n. I'm talking to Seun Kuti right now, and I'm going to come back to him sometime later as well. But as someone interested in Yoruba nation, I must say I am very disappointed at the project. Well, you can be disappointed at the project. It's entirely up to you. Everybody's playing a role. I am using my media. Èmi ni mo mọ etí media mi ti lose. I'm not talking about your YouTube monetization. My media is gone beyond YouTube monetization. I heard that crazy woman kan náà ní UK tó ní Koiki ò gba monetization mọ́. Ṣé mo wá ń sọkún pé mo gba monetization mọ́ mi? Money Lai Muhammad gangan ló fẹ́ gbé page yẹn wálẹ̀ kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ monetization. I have the evidence, but it's not for me to show because as in fact case yẹn lọ díẹ̀. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé platform KOIKIMEDIA tí gbogbo yín tí ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ láti bíbá. Wọ́n mọṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe láti Europe, the Asia, the 7 continents of the world. And I'm not here boasting is because I know from intelligence, and I'm not talking about your Nigerian intelligence, I'm talking about the intelligence from UK. So Lai Mohammed instructed that my page will be brought down, just as Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa page were almost done the same thing. But he couldn't do it. Google couldn't do it. But yes, the monetization was removed, and that has not brought an end to my campaign for the Yoruba people. So when somebody like this now say he's disappointed in the project, well, many people have been disappointed. We have been called names. I will continue to be called names because many people are not satisfied. Ẹlòmíì fẹ́ wà nínú shoe tí mo wà, but kò mọ bó ṣe lè ṣe. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ wà nínú shoe tí mo wà, you have the right. We need many more speakers. We need many more people to come out and speak. Maybe also you will face many consequences of what goes beyond closed door that you don't see. I searched through the internet trying to get something about the Yoruba nation. If you're searching, maybe you have not searched to YSDM. If you go to the YSDM is the movement. Is known as the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Any other person tó bá náà ń ṣe Yoruba nation, Ìgbà Gani Adams kọ́ ni, Okoko Michael kọ́ ni, Abúlé Ẹ̀gbá ni, you are wasting your time because I can tell you that many of those tó náà ń ṣe Yoruba nation yẹn, they all have an hidden agenda. Gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ. Gbogbo wọn pátá ló ní hidden agenda. And that is why they are not going to come closer to people like us. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n lè súnmọ́rọ́ àwa torí pé a máa expose wọn. Níbo ni gbogbo àwọn tó náà wọ́n ń dá ẹgbẹ́ sílẹ̀? Níbo lẹ́yìn wà? Nígbà tí bàbá Akintoye tó dìde pẹ̀lú àwọn set of people and decided that self-determination ní ọ̀nà rather than the fraudulent àwọn Afenifere tí kò lè dá fún gbogbo ilá tó kéde lẹ́tẹ̀ ní ṣòro ogun máa wọ nípa yín ni. Níbo ni ẹ̀yin wà nígbà tí bàbá Akintoye dìde? Àwa ní kìnnì kan global directorate kìnnì kan ṣe dá gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ yẹn sílẹ̀ láti máa jàjàgbara fún self-determination after tí bàbá Akintoye gbé ohùn síta ní gbogbo igbó ohùn síta. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ti ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Yoruba people are good in having organization and destroying it as well. You set up organization and you destroy it. That is the reason why the Yoruba World Congress was destroyed. Because what destroy it? Hoping pé tó bá destroy ẹ̀ bàbá Akintoye ò ní lè ní ẹ̀mí láti máa gbéṣẹ́ yẹn lọ síwájú mọ́. Some of us, and when I say some of us, I just say some of us, not every one of us. That was when I decided to fly down to Nigeria láti lọ rí bàbá Akintoye lọ́wọ́. Because a ti gbọ́ pé everything there's always undertone lábẹ́. Bàbá kí ló wà lábẹ́ Yorùbá nation? Ṣó tún ní nǹkan mi tó wà lábẹ́ ká lè tètè mọ̀ torí pé there's no point ká máa pariwo lórí social media. Ọmọ lóyìnbó làwà lóòótọ́ Nàìjíríà lọ bí wá sí. I have left Nigeria for too long to be kept into darkness. Some of you think that we are stupid like you. I went home because I wanted to get the facts. I met Baba Adebanjo. And I know that Baba Adebanjo will never come out and say Yoruba nation. I never met Baba Fashionoti, and I now know the reason why. Tá a ṣe meet around with Buruku Bẹ́yìn and Baba Ofo at 90 plus. Baba Ofo ni wọ́n. Because gbogbo wọn lọ mọ̀ pé in self-determination fi lè fi jáde ohun self-determination ó máa ju restructure lọ. Tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣàlàyé fáwọn èèyàn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ní kí ni difference between what is the difference between restructure and self-determination? That is what we have been able to do for 3 bloody years. And many people have now realized that kí ló ń pè ní restructure. When you talk about restructure, you are still going to remain in Nigeria. You will not have access to your borders. You will not be able to control anything. That is the difference between the self-determination and restructure. Àwọn olórí burúkú Afẹ́nifẹ́re látàwọn ti fashion wọn tí wọ́n wá ń sọ pé àwọn wà against letter tí àwọn kò sí Tinubu. Ká ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mẹ́yẹ̀ bọ̀ lápò ni. We are not violent. Our utterances might seem like that. Bí ìran Áfíríkà ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ nìyẹn. Ní gbogbo bí ta ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́, àyà wọn máa ń já ta bá ń sọ̀rọ̀. Nítorí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé a máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú anger. A dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ nítorí pé iṣẹ́ ibi táwọn òyìnbó ṣe fún wa kọ́ fi wá sínú slave trade for 500 years ó wà lára tó ń ṣe sí bọ́dì wa ká fi sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. But a sì ní ọmọlúàbí lára. Tó bá jẹ́ pé àná ọmọlúàbí lára ni gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá burúkú yẹ ká ti pa yín mọ́lé ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ ẹ ká pa yín mọ́lé ni. But a lè pa yín mọ́lé torí pé ọmọlúàbí ni wá. Ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú dédé. I can now see the reason why every time táwọn message kan bá wá sọ́dọ̀ olóyè and they know àlọ́ síbẹ̀ wọ́n lè máa bọ̀ lákùrẹ́ àná àlọ́. I can now understand why nítorí pé vision tí wọ́n yàtọ̀ sí vision tiwa. And I'm grateful pé ìgbà tí mo wà Nàìjíríà for 6 months mo rìnrìn gbérégbéré pẹ̀lú olóyè gbogbo ibi ta lọ pátá ni mo lè testify pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation la bá lọ. Tàbá débẹ̀ tó bá nǹkan míì sọ fún wa pé nǹkan míì náà sọ fún wa pé no Yorùbá nation la dúró and we are not changing our voice on that. And I'm grateful that we are still here after 3 years going to 4. Àdúró lórí Yorùbá nation yẹn and nothing is going to change that. But before I go further, if you're one of those again, like I said, if you're looking for who and how to join the movement, go to ysdm.org. But let me say to this person, only gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí, there is no structure, but bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò ní structure, ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú dédé, àmọ́ ibi tó tẹ̀ ti kó gbogbo yín wá. Wọ́n ní structure, wọ́n ní kílẹ̀ bí pé wọ́n ní structure. What do you mean that we don't have a structure? We don't have a government, yes. Tẹ́ bá ní government, lè ṣe so many things and put things in place. But when you don't have a government, you cannot put things in place. Until you have that government, you can start putting things in place. Oh, wọ́n pa wá níbẹ̀ yẹn, gbogbo ìta kan ṣe pé yẹn, ó yẹ wọlé lọ bá wọn, is because ìtorí pé akọni ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá ni. Kò ṣá ọ̀rẹ́ ká máa wọnú gbó lọ bá Lámápá Fúlàní. Iṣẹ́ governor nìyẹn. Governor ló ń gbowó security. Why is the governor not doing that? It's because the governor cares less about the people. When there is no competition, báwo ni PDP ṣe lè sọ pé òun nìkan ló win gbogbo 33 local government? So wọ́n sọ fún anísìn pé kò sí party míì tó lè contest nínú Ọ̀yọ́ state and you expect challenges to be fixed. Orí yóò pé gbogbo yín ẹ wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n pa yín ní gbogbo Ìbàràpá wọ́n ń pa yín nítorí pé PDP nìkan ló ń ṣe local government wọ́n ò fẹ́ lòmíì láyè nítorí pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ mọ inú àárín wọn kákọ́sì wọn. So that means pé ẹgbẹ́ PDP nìkan ló lè ṣe ní Ọ̀yọ́ state ní ṣerú ìjọba bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a bá gba gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì tiwa lọ́jọ́ iwájú kò ní rí bẹ́ẹ̀ láíláí. I can assure you that. So when somebody like this say there is no structure, tell him that there is a lot of structures that have been put in place and those structures are still working till date. And we are grateful to the gods of the land that those structures were almost destroyed by people that are selfish. Tara wọn nìkan lọ́mọ̀, àwọn owó tara tẹlòmíì. Ó ní gbogbo Yorùbá nation tá à ń ṣe, it revolves around Professor Akintoye Igboho àtẹ̀mí. No, it's because my voice is loud, and I'm not saying it's louder than others, but it is loud. That is all I can say, and I'll leave it like that for now. Gbogbo nǹkan pátá láti gbìyànjú. Gbogbo nǹkan pátá ni wọ́n gbìyànjú pé Koiki ò ní lè sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ ìrọ̀lẹ́pa. Mo kí ẹ Kúnlé Bakers, àṣà àti ṣe mo kí ẹ. Kò sí ń tẹ̀lé ṣe sí yẹn pé mo ní sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ yẹn ìrọ̀lẹ́pàṣẹ. Ẹ gbìyànjú. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ àtàwọn ìyàwó mi àtàwọn ọmọ tí mo bí àtàwọn tó ṣì ń bọ̀. So the reason why tó ṣe ń sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation rí bọ́ọ̀bù Ìgbòho àti Koiki àti bàbá Akintoye kódà ẹnìkan kọ lẹ́tà ní some weeks some months back bí ó bá ṣe years back ní síbíà last year ṣọ́ọ̀pù tí mo gbà ní UK tí kò tẹ̀ ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation as far back as only God knows ọdún tí mo gba ṣọ́ọ̀pù ọ̀hún wọ́n níbẹ̀ lèmi àti bàbá Akintoye àti Igboho ti ṣe meeting because wọ́n mọ̀ definitely pé ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú tó ní gbàbọ̀dì fún Igboho àti bàbá Akintoye nìyí oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló ti gbé wá bá mi tí kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ social media mo ní mi o ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú kì í dalẹ̀ ẹ wojú mi dáadáa gbogbo nǹkan lọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú fi ń báyàn ṣeré wọ́n pé a máa dalẹ̀ yẹn no à ní dalẹ̀ tẹ bá ń rò pé a máa dalẹ̀ èmi ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú mo sọ fún yín pé lórí ìrìn àjò yìí ẹ̀mú èmi kúrò nínú ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹni tó bá lẹ̀ dalẹ̀ nínú múfẹ̀tì yìí ó máa bá lọ ikú ló máa pa gbogbo ẹni tó bá dalẹ̀ nínú múfẹ̀tì dàgbé dání torí pé it's a spiritual warfare lájà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. mo sọ fún yín I will not pity anybody that die. That is why I have not made comments for those of you expecting me to make comments. Ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ó gbọ́dọ̀ balẹ̀ lónìí ẹni bá dalẹ̀ ó gbọ́dọ̀ bá lónìí because we are fighting something that is too big to be played with. Ìtàgbédáná òṣèré is a serious sensation room that needs to be looked into with many magnifiers. Thank you so much, Kule Bakers. So let's come back again before I move into the letter. So when people like you are also thinking that, oh, ṣé Yorùbá nation kan ṣe láàárín Ìgbòho àti Koiki nìkan ló ti ń ṣe, it's because my voice is bigger among all the medias. And they know that. And that is why they're doing everything possibly best to shut my voice down. Pé tá bá ti mú voice ti Koiki lọ. And when people say, Koiki, ọ̀nà ló ní kó má sí nínú ilé Ìgbòho níjọ́ yẹn, mo ní ti bá wà níbẹ̀ ńkọ́. Kí ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀? Ẹ̀yin kọ́ lẹ máa sọ pé máa wà níbẹ̀, Elédùmarè mọ̀ pé mo ní sí níbẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin kọ́ lẹ ṣe máa sọ fún mi pé mo ní pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ Ọlọ́run tó bá yẹ kó lọ wà nínú ibẹ̀ wọn apá ẹni. Mo ní ẹlẹ́dàá ìyá mi tó ta ẹ̀jẹ̀ sí mi lórí. Ìyàwó mi rí, ó rí mẹ́sẹ̀jì yẹn clear. Ìyàwó tí mo gbé sílé ó rí mẹ́sẹ̀jì yẹn clear. I won't go into all the details. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́sìn máa sọ fáwọn pé tó bá yẹ kó ká mi mọ́ lé ni, tó bá yẹ kó ká mi mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni, ẹ̀yin mọ tó lè túnṣe nìyí. Ẹ yẹ ká fi ìtókù sílẹ̀. Wọ́n ní there is another day for another fight. Ọba Aláàfin kú bàbá yèyé sọ, ó ní mọ̀jàmọ̀sá la fi máa kíkanjú. Akíkanjú tí kò bá mọ̀ tó bá mọ̀ jà tó bá mọ̀ àsìkò tó máa sá wàá bá ogun yẹn lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ sọ fún yín o, ogun tá gbé dání èmi ò ní bá lọ o. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá sọ pé àwa máa bá lọ ẹ̀yin lẹ máa bá lọ. If anybody, wherever you are around the world, abẹ́ omi ló wà ní anywhere, I don't care. Mo fà yín lé ọba Elédùmarè lọ́wọ́. That's all I will say. But you cannot take my voice. That is what you will not take. Because I am the last man standing on this movement. It is very wrong that you are serving as the mouthpiece of the organization. I am not the mouthpiece of the organization. I am not the mouthpiece of the organization. I am an independent media, but the spokesman for Oloye Igboho. So don't mix me together as the mouthpiece of the organization. YSDM has the mouthpiece. Likewise, Ilano has the mouthpiece. Baba Akintoye ní mouthpiece wọn. Èmi ò kìí ṣe mouthpiece of the organization. But mo dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá tó gbé gbogbo platform mi sílẹ̀ látòkè délẹ̀ fún Yorùbá nation tí mo dẹ̀ sọ pé ní ṣe nǹkan míì lórí Koiki Media until tá bá gba Yorùbá nation. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. I pray it will not be long as negotiation continue. But it does not matter how long. Ọmọ tó bá súlọ tó bá bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ tó bá lọ fóun. Mo ti sọ fún ọmọ tó bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ ní last week Sunday. If you think that you are going to be tired, you have every right to walk away. But èmi lèmi ní platform. I'm not walking away lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. But you need right láti walk away. Torí pé èmi lèmi mọ̀ pé vision tàgbé dání, vision tó máa wáyé, whether they like it or not. Gbogbo àfáà ló ti sọ, gbogbo wòlíì ló ti sọ, Ifá ti sọ, Yorùbá máa dúró, àsìkò tó máa dé làmọ̀, bàwọn olórí burúkú Afẹ́nifẹ́re látàwọn papa fashion lọ ti tẹ̀ ní sórí gbogbo ilá tó gèdélẹ̀, ẹ̀yin bàbá ó fò. Ẹ̀yin bàbá tẹ́ ti jẹ́ látara Nàìjíríà, táwa wá ń pariwo pé ìyà ń jẹ ìran wa lórí self-determination, ẹni kẹgbẹ́nu sákẹ́. And the last one, the guy said, the donation you are soliciting for belong to your company or to Yoruba nation. It doesn't belong to Yoruba nation. Every donation tí bá béèrè yàtọ̀ sí tó bá ní class nínú tí bá sọ pé eléyò afẹ́fi ṣiṣẹ́ Yoruba nation ni. Every donation belongs to me. Tó bá wù mí máa fi jẹ McDonald's lójoojúmọ́. Problem tèmi nìyẹn, kò ṣe problem to anybody. Gbogbo donation pátá. So if anybody wants to know more, so I'm sure this person, you have been waiting for my response. I refuse to reply you. I wanted that reply because there are so many of you like that. The mama whisper, "Kini Koiki ṣe ńbẹ̀ yẹn? Èlò ló ti fún bẹ̀ yẹn. Àwọn owó tó ti gbà yẹn kí ló fi ṣe? Bomb bastard." Ẹni dá fún gbogbo yẹn látòkè délẹ̀. Ẹni tó rọ̀ lárí ló máa ń ṣe yánmayànmá. Inú ọlá ló bí mi sí, inú ọlá ló tọ́ mi sí, inú ọlá kò ń ṣòwò Yorùbá nation mo fi wọ UK. I've lived in UK for 24 years. Ìyá tó bí mi ti travel as far back as 1970 kó tó bí mi ní 1978 kò ní dá fún gbogbo ilá tó gidi lẹ́yìn sóríire. Sọ́bi tí ìyá tiẹ̀ lọ rí kó wá sọ́bi tí ìyá tèmi kémi náà sọ́bi tí ìyá tèmi lọ fún ẹ̀. Bomb bastard. Ẹ̀yin olóòórùn. Ẹ̀yin tí a ní ká gbà kúrò nínú ewu. The one point finger pé ẹ wá fipò owó Yorùbá nation àwọn afi ṣayé ṣé owó Yorùbá nation ni mò ń ná láti ọtí mo ti dé UK for 24 years kò ní dá fún gbogbo iná tó kéde lẹ. I have lived in this country tó yẹ pé báńkì pè mí pé kí wọ́n gba lóò mo ní mo fẹ́. Owó COVID ẹbí gbẹ̀dú lẹ́nu gbẹ̀dú ló pè mí pé wọ́n fún ọ lọ́wọ́ COVID tẹ́mi náà nígbà gbẹ̀dú mò ní parọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ni ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ mo ní kí mo fẹ́ fi ṣe mo ní dẹ̀. Gbẹ̀dú magazine bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín tó bá sí lórí ètò ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ nígbà tí COVID ń lọ nílùú yìí wọ́n fáwọn èèyàn ní loan fún owó COVID mo ní kí mo fẹ́ fi ṣe mo ní dẹ̀ kò ní dá fún gbogbo yín látòkè délẹ̀. Bomb bastard ẹ̀yin tẹ́ rí ọlá rí tẹ́ pé gbà tẹ́ lómi dé abroad lẹ́sẹ̀ ń gé lẹ́sì ṣàṣà lẹ́sẹ̀ ń wọ lẹ́sì gold ló ń fi sí ara àwọn ọmọ wa àwọn ọmọ bàbá mi gold ló ń wọ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó ń wọ pàǹdà nínú ilé wa ẹni sórí ilé látòkè délẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó ń wọ pàǹdà nínú ilé bàbá Koiki Ọmọlóyè kò sẹ́ni tó ń wọ pàǹdà ní gbogbo níwọ̀ nísìn ní Nàìjíríà. Bomb bastard bàbá Akintoye wá ní kò jẹ́ ká máa wọ pàǹdà gold ló yẹ ká máa wọ̀ gold ló yẹ ká máa gbé sọ́rùn nítorí pé gold ń bẹ ní Ọ̀ṣun state. Mo sọ fún yín fídíò yẹn àti àwọn pictures yẹn kò ń ṣe fún public domain n bá fi wòye jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. For almost every day ni wọ́n fi ń gbé gold kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà lọ sí Switzerland. Ìwọ wà ojú ọmọ Ọ̀ṣun state ojú ọmọ Ondo state ìyà ń jẹ́ òmò purpose yìí àṣẹ ń jẹ́ is because àṣì nínú self-determination. Tàbá ní self-determination tó yàtọ̀ sí olórí burúkú gbogbo àwọn tó ń béèrè fún restructure tó mọ̀ pé restructure ni wá sí ìmúṣẹ ẹnu ẹni gbogbo àjọ wà kọ́lọ̀ fún gbogbo alẹ́mìí wíwà tàlàfíà. We will all witness when it's going to happen. So what are the aims and objectives before we now start reading the letter? The aims and objectives of the YSDF is one thing, engage the Nigerian state using available instruments provided by international law and legislation. Àwa kọ lẹ́tà sí President Bola Tinubu. Ìyẹn wá ń bí ní ó ń bí yín nú. Bomb bastard. Ta ni ká kọ lẹ́tà sí? Ṣé Buhari ni kí n máa ní kọ́kọ́ lẹ́tà sí? Should we be writing letter to Buhari that is no longer in power? Should we be writing letter to Jonathan? Or should we be writing letter to Obama? Abi Donald Trump? Abi kini kọ́kọ́ letter to Joe Biden? We write a letter to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And as I will be doing the analysis, this whole week is all about Prof Akintoye letter. And I'll be having some guests probably during the week. I am not looking for any of your favors. Favor tí mo fẹ́ látọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. Gbogbo tí mo ń ṣe, k'Ọlọ́run kó fi dá mi ní ẹ̀bi tó bá jẹ́ pé mo tún ṣe nǹkan mi lẹ́yìn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. Ẹ ṣìrè, pọ́n bastard. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ lọ lárí. Tó yẹ pé ọlá ọ̀wọ́nu lẹ́yìn rí. Mo rí olóyè, mo máa ń bí pé ṣé olówó ni bàbá ìṣá? The way you operate in his house, because mo ti wọlé àwọn olówó rí dáadáa, is a privilege. And I know the difference between olówó and máa bá wọn gbá table tennis, àwọ̀ short maker nínú ilé, àjẹun tán wá máa dún oúnjẹ mọ́ lọ́wọ́, wọ́n máa béèrè pé ṣé olówó náà lélẹ̀ ṣá? Ṣé olówó lélẹ̀ ilé bàbá yóò ò kì í ṣe olówó kì í operate bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe operate yìí. A ní tálákà ni bàbá mi, a ní ṣàgbó wá sáyé ni. Mo bẹ̀rù òye mo ní let's move all this vehicle out of the house. Let's go and keep them in a secure place. At least èmi náà mọ bí méjì mẹ́ta kan ta lè kọ́ àwọn mọ́tò yẹn lọ tó máa secure. Ó ní tó bá dé kọ́ bàjẹ́ tí wọ́n dé náà bàjẹ́ náà kí lè padà ṣe ẹ̀sùn ọ̀bì fún náà ni. Àwa ni even with all that we're going nowhere, we still remain on the word self-determination. Ẹlòmíì wá mọ kí ló ń pè ní self-determination. It is called inalienable right. Right ni ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn ni. Bó bá àwọn Tinubu kọ́ gbọ́, bó bá àwọn kọ́ má gbọ́, problem tẹ̀ nìyẹn. But right ti wá ni pé ká sọ fún pé Yoruba wants to exit Nigeria peacefully. And that's exactly what we are doing. My utterances might not be comfortable with some of you. That is my own cup of tea, not yours. If British thinks I'm doing something that is wrong, they will come after me. And then we will do the needful. We go to the court. And I'll ask questions. What led to the amalgamation? What led to so many things? Today, Uswan will not be seen. The same people that were pulling people all over the world from slave trade, but one down when Father lost one down, you see. I wish those of you that are arriving and claiming asylum all the best. Let's move swiftly and start reading the letter, because I told you this is a platform that breaks things down. And as we did during Buhari's time, we will treat this letter as our baby. We will treat it as a baby in the house. A máa ka lẹ́tà yẹn tó máa fi yé wọ tó ń gbọ́ tó tẹ́tí ẹ̀ tó ti pẹ̀lú dí etí ẹ̀. Ìyà ń jẹ wọ́n lẹ́kìtì. Àwọn ọmọ mi lọ report ní petrol station. Ẹni tó ń report lọ tó fẹ́ náà. You can see the mentality of the people. Ṣèbí problem tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ pé ká lè highlight ẹ̀ bí àjọba lè rí nǹkan ṣe sí. Kàkà bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹni tó ń record lọ fi gba fóònù lọ fi fọmọ́lẹ̀ lọ fi bàjẹ́. Ara yín náà lẹ máa jẹ àwọn olóṣèlú tó ń jẹ yín ẹ̀rí kankan ṣe fún wọn. That is how worse and how bad things are. Kàkà kí ó jẹ́ pé àwọn olóṣèlú tó ń dí pẹ̀lú yín lẹ máa dí pẹ̀lú náà. Ara yín lẹ máa ń dí pẹ̀lú. But àwọn ni wá wò yẹn, we are not going to look into that and sit back and allow your life to be messed up. I'll be reading from my own right here. Once again, this letter was initiated on the 17th of April 2024. And without any interruption, it goes like this. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of Nigeria, President Office, Aso Rock, Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, Nigeria, April 17, 2024. Your Excellency, we Yoruba self-determination movement, leading the Yoruba self-determination struggle for the Yoruba sovereign state separate from Nigeria, have the honor to send to Your Excellency this important letter on behalf of the many millions of Yoruba people at home, in Yoruba land, in Nigeria, and the Yoruba diaspora in almost all countries across the world. We send this letter most respectfully to Your Excellency as a follow-up to our earlier letter dated August 6, 2022, which we delivered to your predecessor, President Muhammadu Buhari, in his exalted position then as the President of Nigeria. The central message of our earlier letter to President Buhari was that we Yoruba people of southwest part of Nigeria, consisting the Yoruba people of Ekiti State, Lagos State, Ogun State, Ondo State, Osun State, Oyo State, and the Yoruba local government areas of Kogi State and Kwara State, and the Shekiri homeland of Delta State, altogether amounting to an estimated total population of 60 million, desire to exercise and assert our self-determination as an indigenous nation, and therefore to constitute our whole homeland in Nigeria into Yoruba sovereign state, separate from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The second most important message in our said letter of August 6, 2022 to your predecessor, President Buhari, was our humble request that the government of Nigeria should authorize and facilitate peaceful and orderly negotiation with us, Yoruba nation, with a view of reaching with us a mutual agreed and peaceful route for our separation from Nigeria. We wrote then as follows, in conclusion, along the lines of our peaceful approach and respect for the government and the laws of Nigeria. We hereby express our wish to engage in negotiation with the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with a view to reaching a mutual agreed and peaceful route to the completion of our realization of our Yoruba nation self-determination and establishment of a Yoruba sovereign nation state, which steps we desire to accomplish as expeditiously as purposely. For this purpose, we hereby propose as follows, that the Nigerian government shall within the next 2 months, but not later than October 1st, 2022, inform us that we have graciously agreed to our proposal for negotiation, and that they have set up negotiation team that will meet and dialogue with our Yoruba nation's representatives. That the Nigerian government negotiation team and our negotiation team shall meet to appoint co-chair persons to agree on a date for the first negotiation meeting. The negotiation procedure and the negotiation venue, the ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United Nations shall be invited to send observers to the negotiation meeting. To our grave disappointment, Your Excellency, President Buhari, and the Nigerian federal government have never favored our Yoruba nation with any response or even an acknowledge to our August 6, 2022 letter to President Buhari. We hereby again very respectfully send to you, Your Excellency, a copy of our August 6, 2022 letter, which we wrote to President Buhari in his position as President of Nigeria. We are set that we stand totally and absolutely with all the points and with every point that we made in that letter. We have respectfully urged you, Mr. President, to do the duty of your high position as President of Nigeria and favor us with an official response not later than the last day of the May 2024, which is next month. So we're expecting that President Bola Tinubu will at least acknowledge this particular letter sent to him through the leader and the movement. Your Excellency, in order to further enable, enrich, and strengthen your understanding and consideration of our request for separation from Nigeria, we consider it very important that we should furnish you with the following further information concerning our request. First, Your Excellency, Nigeria's economy has collapsed. Nigerians, including our Yoruba people, are living a life of wretched poverty and hunger. Important roads are dilapidated for years in our Yoruba homeland. Electricity supply has been increasingly fizzling out for years. For decades, businesses have been fleeing from Nigeria, mostly from our Yoruba homeland. The home of most Nigeria businesses before 1960. Almost all the businesses and industries that blessed our Yoruba homeland and independent in 1960 have shut down. Though Nigeria is one of the largest producers of petroleum in the world, Nigeria has depended on imported gasoline and has left its own refineries in disrepair. The price of gasoline has been rising steadily in Nigeria for years. In the past 9 months, the price of gasoline has jumped beyond the reach of most Nigerians. Important holders of knowledge of economy, such as former governor of Nigeria Central Bank Charles Soludo, the new Minister of Finance Wale Edun, the new security advisor Nurul Ribadu, and others, are telling the world that Nigerian economy had collapsed before President Tinubu took over from President Buhari. That Tinubu inherited a bankrupt country. Therefore, the value of the Nigerian currency, the naira, has fallen abominably, causing inflation to skyrocket, pushing the prices of food staples beyond the reach of most citizens. In all regions, huge numbers of hungry people have protested in the street, crying of hunger, condemning the Nigerian government and calling for the dissolution of Nigeria. The collapse of Nigerian economy today is the end outcome of 6 decades, 60 years of perpetual truculent twisting, distortion, corruption, and degradation of Nigeria's economic and political life. Even if President Tinubu, by dint of knowledge and resoluteness, and with the help of the capable assistant whom he has brought into the government, succeed in healing Nigeria's economy to an extent, Nigeria's economy will certainly return to its downward trajectory after him. The forces pushing Nigeria economy downwards include Nigerians' enormous culture of public corruption are just too powerful. There is no other country in the world about whom Nigeria kind of story can be told. The story of a country that earned for many years some of the largest revenue in the world from petroleum, that has continued to earn much of such revenue, and has yet ended up as a number of home of extreme poverty in the world, with millions of its citizens caused by starvation, dilapidated infrastructures, failure of electricity supply, and many more. Trying to lift up Nigeria's economy sustainable is a futile venture. As you know very well, Mr. President, the collective psychology of our Yoruba people is fundamentally reverted to development, progress, prosperity, constantly improving quality of life for all citizens. Therefore, Your Excellency, it will amount to a betrayal of our people for us, their prominent sons and daughters, to conscientiously accept to continue to include our people in a country that is obviously producing economic collapse, threatening terrible devastation for all. Secondly, Mr. President, as you know very well, and as the whole world knows, we Yoruba are considerable well-educated people. The programs of free primary education commenced in our Yoruba homeland in the 1950s and extended up to free secondary education in the 1970s, of producing the blessing that we Yoruba are very much educated people. The younger sector of our population, our people of 18 to 50 years of age, are the most solidly educated generation among our adult population. The same generation, 18 to 50 years of age, amount to about 70% of our total population. The meaning and consequences of these factors as follows. First, our youthful adults are, because of their education, a very dynamic and impatient population. Our men and women of this generation are unable to bear the serious depreciation of the Nigerian economy. The consequence, high and escalating rate of unemployment in Nigeria since the 90s, and the rising insecurity in Nigeria have been fleeing in ever-increasing numbers to other countries of the world for decades. Today, some estimate have it that more than 11 million members of these Yoruba generations have fled abroad. And that rate of their flight is increasing. No other nation in the world is losing population as heavily as this. The Yoruba nation in Nigeria is losing too heavy a part of its most educated, most dynamic population. It's losing development capability. It's bleeding too heavily. It's essentially breaking up. We Yoruba are troubled, even frightened by this trend, and we strongly desire to stop it. We are sure that the only viable solution is to have a separate country of our own, a country in which we can build the national economy as competently as we're able to do, a country in which we can seriously and quickly revive our people's economy, a country that can attract back our exiles from all over the world. Your Excellency, we Yoruba seriously expect to have your sympathy and cooperation, and the sympathy and the cooperation of the federal government of Nigeria in this serious and noble enterprise. Thirdly, Your Excellency, here is another important consideration that also relates to our highly educated youthful adult population. Almost all of our youthful adult people agree by now that our Yoruba nation should have its own separate country. Almost all of these Yoruba youthful adult population accept up to this point the peaceful and law-abiding approach to self-determination process that leaders of the struggle have been diligently promoting from the beginning. It is of utmost importance that the federal government of Nigeria should relate to this process and leadership. There are already signs, though only faint signs for now, that educated Yoruba youthful adults in Yoruba homeland in Nigeria and their brethren in the diaspora may become more and more radical in the struggle for Yoruba self-determination if the federal government continue to make the mistake of neglecting respond to the current peaceful process and the leadership of the Yoruba struggle. A seriously undesirable situation could develop among the generation of the Yoruba youthful adults, a situation that could generate much violence and could violently shred and rip Nigeria apart, cause floods of blood, and take countless lives. This message must therefore be seen by you, Your Excellency, as a patriotic and humane warning to Nigeria. The serious criminal outburst that occurred in Ibadan during the weekend of April 11, 2024 needs to be carefully understood. The group which announced a takeover of government in Ibadan on April 11 was manifestly weak and incompetent at managing their action and its aftermath. But even so, the rulers of the country ought to take it as a very important and surprising signal that the group did manage to attract to itself as many educated Yoruba youth as they did. The urgency has obviously arisen for the federal government to interact with the current responsible leadership of the Yoruba self-determination struggle. Since the 90s, various informed persons have been warning that a massive revolt by educated Yoruba youth could happen in Yoruba homeland in Nigeria. We have seen now to be coming close to such a revolt, from sporadic and unconfirmed reports reaching the public about the group of April 11. Some of the young persons who were involved in that action are now telling friends and relations that the reason it was easy to deceive them into it was their fervent desire to have their Yoruba self-determination fulfilled, in which desire they were encouraged by some of their friends and brothers in the diaspora. This does not sound good for Yoruba and for Nigeria at all. And Yoruba and Nigerian leaders and rulers must respond to it with a serious sense of responsibility. Snips of news that the government is threatening fire and brainstorm against all advocates of self-determination are very unhelpful. Totally unhelpful. Fourthly, Mr. President, another crucial matter that we Yoruba must bring before Your Excellency is the horrific and seriously disturbing character of the attitude and utterly disrespectful approach of one of the nations of Nigeria, namely the Fulani nation, to the federal government, and the certainty, integrity, dignity of the Nigerian state and the public order. Since 2015, the Fulani have been killing widely among the peoples of Nigeria, including us, the Yoruba, destroying farm, villages, and other assets, kidnapping men, women, and children, extorting large amounts of money as ransom from friends and family of the kidnapped, and repeatedly asserting their intention to seize the homeland of all indigenous peoples of Nigeria for the purpose of turning all into Fulani homeland. In the Middle Belt, horrendous bloodletting is going on. Very many families have been forced into internal displaced people camps, and many of their villages have been seized by Fulani and renamed as Fulani villages. In our Yoruba homeland, our people are resisting somewhat better, but the Fulani attacks and killings and kidnappings are unrelenting and are coming daily, leading to a horrific instability and forcing most of our farmers to abandon farming altogether, thereby dooming Yoruba people to years and years of famine. According to an unofficial estimate, the Fulani have killed as many as 29,000 Yoruba people since the year 2015. All these actions by the Fulani are, to us, Yoruba, a sufficient reason for our seeking to separate our Yoruba nation from Nigeria. Most of us, Yoruba, have no confidence. I have no confidence. All these actions by the Fulani are, to all Yoruba, a sufficient reason for seeking to separate our Yoruba nation from Nigeria. Most of us, Yoruba, have no confidence in restructuring. Cannot keep the Fulani marauders away from our homeland. Since after restructuring, the Fulani will still be Nigerians like us, and will still have full citizens' right to come in large numbers and with weapons and intent to kill and destroy and seize land to our homeland. Their spokesperson has said again and again, unambiguously, that their Fulani nation has prepared all its citizens to fight their current war of subjugation, and that their Fulani nation has prepared all its citizens to fight their current war of subjugation and land seizure for decades and even centuries to come. We Yoruba must not underestimate the Fulani. We must not condemn our people to Fulani killings, destructions, raping, kidnapping, extortion of ransom for decades or centuries to come. Our Yoruba nation may not survive such prolonged battering. Fifthly, Your Excellency, since your inauguration as the President of Nigeria in May 2023, the Fulani have stepped onto such a higher level of national devastation as to add mightily to our reasons for seeking to separate our Yoruba nation from Nigeria. We ask you to witness, Your Excellency, the 2 declarations of war by the Fulani against the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and against the entire Nigeria polite. First Fulani declaration of war, January 24, 2024. In this first declaration, the Fulani demand immediate release of the leader of the Miyetti Allah, Bello Bodejo, who was arrested for illegally creating an armed Fulani force which intend to deploy to all states of Nigeria. The Fulani declarations, we hereby reiterated our demand for the release of Bello Bodejo. We hereby give 72 hours notice. Failure to release him, the Nigerian government will hear from us. Threatening that because the Fulani elders had failed to secure a Fulani successor, a person who would protect Fulani interests to succeed President Buhari in 2023. The Fulani have decided that their response is inevitable jihad. It is now obvious we have no option than to relaunch our campaign. And we have started in earnest. Henceforth, the Nigerian government will hear from us in every town, every village, every city, every community in the south, in the middle belt. Our campaign will be swift and decisive, and nobody will be able to help Nigeria. The Fulani can never have a country where they are second-class citizens. That is unacceptable. One, that the arrest of any Fulani man in connection with the jihad is a crime against our Fulani collective interest. We want the Nigerian government not to make a mistake of arresting any Fulani leader or person never again. Announce our current effort in Plateau will not cease until the infidels are suppressed and jihad installed in every part of Nigeria to the glory of our father Uthman Danfodio. Command that no Fulani must be arrested in connection with the powerful bomb explosion which occurred in the street of Ibadan on January 16, 2024. The bomb blast that shook all parts of the large city of Ibadan sank many houses on the street, destroyed many more houses, killed 7 people, wounded 80 people. The Fulani declaration threatening if any Fulani man be arrested, they are sure that our response will be total, ruthless, and immediate, except more bombings in every public places across the South, Middle Belt, and Abuja from the month of February 2024. Order all Fulani to take arms. We call on all our Fulani brothers to take the war into the enemy territory in Plateau, Enugu, Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, Makurdi, until the infidel government are brought down. Hard, we call on non-Fulani people to vacate Plateau, Kaduna, Benue State if they are not ready to live under the inevitable jihad, which will eventually be all over Nigeria. Second Fulani declaration of war. In this second declaration, the Fulani announced the Fulani jihad full-blown and have no apologies. Then they added, it is like the present government wants to dare us. Let them be told that we shall burn down everything in Nigeria. We don't care. This president is not our president. He's deceiving himself with this so-called Muslim arrangement. Who cares? With a question mark. We care only about what our father Uthman Danfodio laid down, not your religion. We are going to Aso Rock and nobody will stop us. We shall take over the seat of government, which is our right, and we shall direct every other operations from there. Forget the military. Are they not in our pocket? Are they not working for us? Question mark. As for the Hausas, those fools know better. They either live under this jihad or perish like the rest of the unbelievers. We don't care their religion. We are burning down. We're burning down both their mosques and churches. They are weak and stupid. They are present, no resistance. The Yorubas think they have a president. Let them sleep and enjoy themselves. What we did to them in Ilorin shall be child's play. They have seen what we are able to do in recent times to them. They are cowards and weak. But the Middle Belt think they are strong. But what type of bravery without weapons? Question mark. We shall make sure they have nothing to defend themselves with. We are almost done with them. They should remember what we did in Kaduna through our brother when we were in government. These are very good hands. We have no apologies and we have started. Our royal fathers are proud of us. History has bestowed in our hands to accomplish. There's no going back. Note A. Both of these declaration of war were proclaimed by the top Fulani organization named Fulani Nationalist Movement, FUNAM, and were signed by its president and vice, Kuma Amir Shehu Ambadu Salisu Amadu. B. At the same time as the Fulani Nationalist Movement has been issuing their declarations of war, leading members of the Fulani traditional and political elite, the Sultan, the Emirs, former President and Vice President of Nigeria, former ministers in the Nigerian federal government, former and current members of the Nigerian National Assembly, all of whom never raised a voice against President Buhari's egregious misgovernment and hideous corruption for 8 years, have been viciously and persistently castigating President Tinubu. Virtually every official action of his threatening that the northern masses will rebel against him and threatening that the Nigerian military will sack his government. The Fulani elite seem to be saying in effect that they intend to make Nigeria ungovernable for President Tinubu, and they will never accept any official action of his. Yoruba response. We Yoruba are civilized modern people. We attach the greatest importance to citizens, respect for sanctity, integrity, dignity of public authority. We are sure that all public order and good depend on these conditions. We find it extremely difficult to continue to accept to be part of a country in which any one of the constituent peoples feels free to treat their country and its government as the Fulanis are threatening Nigeria. The Nigerian president, the Nigerian federal government, and all the government and the peoples of the Nigerian Federation today, we are sure that the Fulani act of terror and destructions against other Nigerian peoples are criminal acts. We are sure too that most of what Fulani are saying in their declarations of war against the president, the federal government, and other government and peoples of Nigeria are serious crimes. We as a people concede that it is the prerogative of the Nigerian to continue to participate in a state entity that is the prerogative of the Nigerian federal government to deal with crimes as it chooses. But we as people are clearly opposed to continue to participate in a state entity in which the government seems to lack the systemic strength, the political will, and the moral confidence to treat crimes as crimes and criminals as criminals. We believe that a situation like that portends a horrific deepening of the already deep anarchy and economic failure of Nigeria, and that it promises to galvanize Nigeria to an all-encompassing violence and war which will consume millions of Nigerians' lives and export disaster and human suffering to the rest of West Africa. We Yoruba cannot consent any longer to being a part of such an inevitable and imminent disaster. Our closing words. Your Excellency, the above plus all the matters raised by us in our letter to President Muhammadu Buhari, dated August 6, 2022, a copy of which letter we hereby respectfully attach to this letter, is the fullness of our respectful message to Your Excellency. Your Excellency, we Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, acting for and on behalf of 60 million Yoruba people to Ekiti State, Lagos State, Ogun State, Ondo State, Osun State, Oyo State, plus the Yoruba local government areas of Koiki State and Kwara State, plus the Ishekiri homeland of Delta State, all together constituting the Yoruba land in Nigeria, hereby most humbly place our crown request before Your Excellency as follows: that the Nigerian government shall within the next 2 months, but not later than the June 15, 2024, inform us, Yoruba self-determination movement, that the Nigerian federal government has graciously agreed to our proposal for negotiation, and that we have set up a negotiation team that will meet and dialogue with our Yoruba Nation negotiation team. That as soon as we receive the communication from the Nigerian federal government in response to this request of ours for negotiation, we shall forward the list of our negotiation team to the Nigerian federal government. That the Nigerian government negotiation team and our negotiation team shall meet to appoint co-chairperson to agree on a date for the first negotiation meeting, to the negotiation venue, to the negotiation agenda and process. That the Nigerian federal government shall invite the United Nations, African Union, and the Economic Community of West African States to send observers to the negotiation meetings. Your Excellency, please accept the best assurance of our highest regards and our best wishes. Yours sincerely, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the national leader, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, Chief Dr. Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, leader, Yoruba National Defense, Otumba Ola Ademola, Vice Chairman, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. What I have read in the last 20 minutes or thereabout is the letter that was sent to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let me explain what we're going to be doing on our platform within the next couple of days. We'll be treating this letter and we'll be ironing out questions and what we need to understand in the content of this letter. You will be having opportunity to also call in at some point during the programs. What do we want to understand in this letter? This letter will be, I believe, if I'm not right, I will check, but hopefully by the end of the tomorrow. That means that probably after this program, I'll be uploading this letter on our website, www.KOIKIMEDIA.com. Do not send me a private message for this letter. You will be able to download that letter yourself and keep a copy and study it. I will say if we can work, if we have someone, if otherwise I will use Google Translation to translate it to Yoruba. But if we have someone that can go straight into this letter and give us a proper translation in Yoruba, even if I cannot read it, I would work someone out that can read it out to us in Yoruba language for the benefit of our people. I'll be doing another program later, just reading this letter so that it becomes officially on the Koiki Media pages. I've been away for a couple of days. I am fully back on my feet again. You cannot stop me from doing what needs to be done to liberate our people from the shackles and the bondage that the British brought on us in 1914. The amalgamation has expired and we have no more business in Nigeria. The business that we have now is the negotiation between us and the federal government. Some of you might start also asking questions. That is the beauty of what we say, how we want things to be done. Your questions also will be taken on board. But let me remind you that I have not done any analysis yet on this letter. Many people have just heard that Baba Akintoye wrote a letter, but you've never had the privilege to even know the content of that letter. The content of this letter is what led to the Afenifere coming out to say that Baba Akintoye and Igboho and Otunba Ademola have no right to write to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu asking for self-determination when they are already in the process of asking President Tinubu to give them what they called a restructure Nigeria. My question to the leadership of the Afenifere today, do you ever think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, thank you so much for the super chat to my beautiful mother, do you ever think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will honor that restructure or the regional government? I am not here to speak on behalf of Tinubu. He has a lot of people that he paid to do such job. My job is to defend the Yoruba people that wants what is known as self-determination under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Before I read out what Baba Akintoye wrote back to Pa Fashionoti and the Afeniferes regarding our right to self-determination, we might not yet be getting the international media to come and talk about our quest. It is because nothing yet has happened for them to do so. There is no violence in what the Yoruba people are doing. And that literally means that since we don't have any violence in our takes for self-determination, that literally means that international community will not respond to anything while negotiation is going on underneath as we speak right now. Yes, maybe some few international media that are interested in the line of self-determination that state clearly, Article 3, indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they are freely determine their political status, freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. All these was stated clearly in the letter that I've just read. But like I said, I will be doing more analysis as days goes and weeks and months. But some of the Yoruba people that might argue that we must remain in Nigeria since there's benefit in Nigeria. The difference between the benefit that we will gain when we have an independent country as the one that we have right now is that the Yoruba people will have total control. We will not have a situation where a local government election is operating and one political party wins all. There's a local government election coming up in UK within the next couple of days. People will be allowed to determine who runs their local government on their behalf, as against where one political party in a particular state controls the local government across 119 local government across the southwest Nigeria. I am not your problem. I am not the cause of the problem of Nigeria. I am not the cause of the problem of Nigeria. Mine is to enlighten and educate you all. You don't have to agree You can disagree. You have every right to disagree. But one thing I can tell you is that the Yoruba people want a total exit from Nigeria. And the reasons for such, I'll read them quickly without wasting too much time. Some of those reasons. You will reclaim back your true identity. You will reclaim back your identity. The Yoruba people today, we don't have our true identity anymore. Our identity, our true identity has been taken away from us. We are known as Nigerians. There's nothing wrong in that, because that is what the UK or the British created, the phantom Nigeria in 1914. But we can rewrite the history if we all agree that we want our true identity. If you want your true identity, then you should be part of those supporting a full independent Yoruba country, because a restructured Nigeria keeps you as Nigerian. Your identity is not going to change. I understand some of you love when the Yoruba man or woman, men, young, old, are performing very well within Africa and globally, without mentioning any name. We saw how the young man or the elderly man or the brother, the uncle performed globally. Yoruba name, fantastic player, but representing Nigeria. He is not there representing a Yoruba person as a Yoruba nation or Yoruba country or Yoruba culture. Yes, his name can automatically give us that he's a Yoruba man, but not every country around the world recognize your name as a Yoruba person. You'll be surprised that many people does not even believe that your name is Yoruba. But when we have the true identity with a country, you will automatically be picked around the world as a Yoruba person, as against known as Nigerian, but a Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa or the rest of the ethnic that have been joined together in 1914. That is what we should be fighting for. The restructured Nigeria is not going to give us this. It will give you certain things, but you will keep that name Nigeria. What is Nigeria? Everybody understand now today that there's nothing known as Nigeria. It is just fabricated. It's a British Royal Niger company. It was all business center that was created by Lugard for his own selfish interest. So for the fact that we can create our own country, that we have the right to, under the negotiation that we're talking about, our true identity will come back. Our language will no longer be determined by English. Not that many of us are not well educated enough. Imagine studying Yoruba in physics. Have you thought about learning Yoruba in mathematics? Or learning mathematics in Yoruba, rather. Learning physics in Yoruba, learning biology in Yoruba, learning chemistry in Yoruba, further maths in Yoruba, learning CRK, Christian religious knowledge in Yoruba, even learning Islam in Yoruba, learning Agric in Yoruba, geography in Yoruba. This is what the Chinese does. Chinese does not learn any language apart from Chinese to study. The reason why we think that some of us are much better than others is because probably your English is a bit perfect, but many of our mothers have been able to trade for a very long time using Yoruba until things started to change, and until the formation and the creation of the 1914 amalgamation. If there was nothing known as Nigeria, which English is not our official and truly language, none of us might even understand English today, because Yoruba would have been the only language tamamaso. But for the fact that what English they were lenu, it is now proving difficult that even those that are Yoruba are now saying that kì í ṣe Yoruba, we are English. And let me say this, you can never be an English person. It does not matter how you try to look like them. I have seen many of our brothers, they dress like them. They try to fit in exactly like an Englishman, English woman. And there's a difference between English and the other Western Europeans, especially the Eastern Europeans. Even between the three regions in UK, the Scottish, the Welsh, the Irish, each one of these in a football ground, you can identify yourself just by your own true language. Kí ló wá dé táwa wá ń sá fún tiwa? Tá ń pè fún ká wá darapọ̀ mọ́ Yorùbá nation. Ẹni ẹ fẹ́ restructure. A restructure will not give you your Yoruba language back. We will have our own passport. Many of our children today have a blue British passport. Many of you are fighting for that passport. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ń jà fún passport yẹn nílùú Ìlẹ́ni. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kẹ́ rí gbà. I am not going to sit here kí n sọ pé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kẹ́ rí gbà. But why also are we not fighting for a Yoruba independent country? Oduduwa Republic, Yoruba Kingdom, whatever we're going to call it, with our own official passport. Lọ́jọ́ wájú. Kí ló dé tá ṣe ń sá fún ìyẹn? But we are always ready to sacrifice, to pay the imam, pay the babalawo, pay the afa, pay everything, sacrifice years and years so that we can get to become a British national. I want sọ pé ká gba Yoruba country, ká become a true national Yoruba people. Ẹnẹ́ ẹ̀fẹ́ yẹn. Fún ìtẹ̀wà nílé, I understand that you might not understand what it means to get a British passport. It's like heaven to some of us. Maybe not you, because you don't know what it takes when you travel with that passport. You will know that it gives you access. It's just a passport representing a country. This is what we are asking. Your support to the movement. But rather, some of you will never look. I don't blame you if you don't have a Nigerian passport. Many British citizens don't have a passport because they have nowhere to go. But for the fact that there's going to be a difference by holding a Yoruba passport in the future, there's nothing should be talking about restructure Nigeria. But I understand ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yóò mọ the value of what a passport means. Our currency. We can hold our currency and start appreciating it just as we love the dollar and the pounds and the Canadian dollars. Tó bá fún ẹ ní owó nísìn, o lè wò pé ṣé yuan lọ fún ẹ àbí ti euro. We will have our own currency. We can start running our own economy. All these things is not a game. It is going to be a reality, but it has to start with negotiation, discussion, talking. Oh, ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀ ó ti pẹ́ jù láti jọ. You are idiot. Stop it. Stop saying pé ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀ ó ti pọ̀ jù. Do you know how long it took them to format Nigeria? And you expect it to blow out in one day. You are mad. Ẹ mọ oríṣiríṣi ritual tó ṣe kalẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń gbàdúrà lé lórí lójoojúmọ́ ní sí pé kí èdè yẹn kó tú díẹ̀ kí a lè rí ọ̀nà lọ. Ẹ̀yin sọ pé ó ti pẹ́ jù. Ojú kan yín. Ẹ ti rí ibi tí gbogbo yín bára yín dé báyìí nísìnyí. Ṣé ti rí ibi tẹ́ bára yín dé? Ẹ̀yin ọmọ àlè tá à ń sọ fún ẹni ẹ̀fẹ̀ gbọ́, ẹni Koiki ń parọ́, Any gbòòrò parọ́, any crowd, any backup, any nothing. Nothing, literally nothing. You were deceived. Because àyùn ìlú gbé yín lọ́kàn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó gbé mi náà lọ́kàn. Even though I am 6,000 miles away from Nigeria, I feel like I should be on the ground all the time. I was reading something from a sister of mine. I would try not to mention her name right on the Instagram. And I hope I can just say it. Yeah. Let me go into a page. She posted this. I will not mention her name. And this was posted 19 hours ago. I don't understand why anytime I leave United Kingdom for Nigeria, I am full of excitement. And aside the kids, yàtọ̀ sí pé àwọn ọmọ mi tó wà nílùú òyìnbó, I rarely think of anything or anyone back in UK. Mo mẹ́ni tó ṣẹ̀ dé ní weekend yìí, weekend tá lọ tán yìí. Mo mẹ́ni tó ṣẹ̀ dé. For the fact bó ti dé padà báyìí, kò wà comfortable again o. Ẹja wò kí ló fà á? Ṣé ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ tẹ́ ń tà ń gbìn nílé àbí nǹkan míì ni? No, I will tell you. Because arábìnrin ni wọ́n mẹ́nu bà díẹ̀. But days before I am about to return, and at least a couple of weeks after returning, I feel low, moody, nostalgic, and out of sort. Tí yàn bá dé padà sí ìlú òyìnbó, oríṣiríṣi nǹkan á máa ṣe yàn. Kí ló ṣe é lé? Even though ibi tó ti ń bọ̀, it's not as perfect. Kí ló ń fà á? Ẹ̀gbọ́n nǹkan tẹ́ni kọ sí bíbá. Ó ní there is something spiritual about the fatherland. Fatherland tó ń sọ yẹn kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà. Fatherland tó ń sọ yẹn because ọmọ Yorùbá lẹni tí mò ń sọ yẹn. Bọ́mọ ní sọ state tí wọ́n ti wá. In tó ń pè ní there is a spiritual connection pẹ̀lú àwa àti ilẹ̀ wa. That spiritual connection yẹn òun là ń fẹ́ gbà padà. Kàṣẹ́ ń sọ pé ilẹ̀ ju gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yìí ò ní understanding ẹ̀. Wọ́n wá gbé Nàìjíríà lé orúkọ tó ju Nàìjíríà lọ for thousands of years. Wọ́n gbélé lórí. Wọ́n deceive wa. Àwọn òyìnbó ló mọ̀ nípa yẹn dáadáa. O ò lè dàbí òyìnbó láyé ni mo sọ. O ò lè sọ òyìnbó bí òyìnbó. Kò dẹ̀ sí bó ṣe lè lọ títí nílùú yìí. Tó bá dáhùn ibì kan, o máa ní stop gap. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún ẹ, mo mọ àwọn tó yẹ pé wọ́n wà ní position. Wọ́n ò jẹ́ kó lọ sókè ju bó ṣe wà yẹn lọ mọ́. Wọ́n ti káàpù wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. And I'm not talking about just kwekwe job. I'm not talking about iṣẹ́ táwa lọ ń fà, iṣẹ́ sáré lọ pa 2 hours níbí náà. Àwọn ilé kàwé pẹ̀lú wọn dáadáa ni. Ó ní level. Rishi Sunak gan fúnra rẹ̀. Bá ṣe ń bá lọ yìí, màá kọ̀ mẹ́nu dákẹ́. After the election, màá wá sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. After election ti UK, not ti council tó fẹ́ ṣe yo, the general election, màá wá sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. It is all the game. So ìwọ tó ń wò mí tó wà lábroad tó ń sọ pé kí n dẹnu dákẹ́ pé àwọn ọmọ ẹ ní blue passport wọ́n kú oríire ọmọ tèmi náà ní kò sí nǹkan kan tó máa gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn but wọ́n máa ní stop gap. Yeah, you heard me very well. Your children will have a stop gap. Ọmọdé ìwọ àtèmi nìdí yẹn because kódà bọ́ bí ẹ sí ìlú yìí wàá padà lọ́wọ́ generation ti tọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ náà bọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ bí ẹ sí ìlú yìí náà the same thing ni there's gonna be a stop gap for them even with their British passport. Kódà kọ́ fún wọn ní the best scholarship lọ sí Harvard mo mọ àwọn tó yẹ pé wọ́n wà on their báyìí wọ́n ń kàwé lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tó jẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ó níbi tó máa ní stop gap yẹn dé ó lè dàbí òyìnbó láyé kò sí ọ̀nà tó lè gbà kò sí òyìnbó tó lè sọ. This is what is going to give the difference between us and them. We can become partners in the future. There is something spiritual about the fatherland. There is a spirit that bonds me perpetually. Mo ní sọ state yẹn, mo keep me as an isowo. And that spirit keep calling me to return home. And I hate when I leave. Ó ní òun inú bí òun tó bá kúrò lórí ilẹ̀ òun. Ṣé yóò mọ̀ pé for the fact that we are traveling out of our land, à ń gbé spirit tiwa jáde nìyẹn. Spirit tiwa wá ń kọlu spirit mi níta. And that is why it's taking longer for some of us to be successful. Yes, some of us will be successful, but spirit tá ń bá pàdé níta, àwọn náà dúró. Pé ṣebí bí kan lẹ́yìn tí ń bọ̀, ẹ̀yin ṣe fi spirit tọ̀dọ̀ tí ń sílẹ̀. Ẹ fi spirit tọ̀dọ̀ tí ń sílẹ̀. Ẹ lé spirit oní spirit kiri. And that is why we are very prayerful people. But our land must be taken from us back. A gbọ́dọ̀ gbalẹ̀ yẹn padà. Tá a bá gbalẹ̀ yẹn padà, kò sí kankan tá lè ṣe tó máa ní àṣeyọrí. Irọ́ là ń pa fúnra wa. We are lying to each other. So these are just some of those things that when we talk about the benefits, this program ends in just under 28 minutes. But within that 28 minutes, I want to take us again to another area. Let's read this quickly because I have one more area to go through. Professor Akintoye replies, Afenifere, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Self-determination ni òun ni answer. Kò kí ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ restructure mọ́. It is too late for restructuring. Anybody tó bá ń bèrè restructure Nigeria, wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n ní fún wọn ní restructure Nigeria. Bola Tinubu have asked this question and I asked you all to save it in 29 August 2024. Ọ̀nà àfún gbogbo wa pátápátá lé ẹ̀mí gúngún àtàlàfíà. Ẹ̀mí tó fún wa ká fi gbérí ti Buhari, àgbèrè ti Tinubu yìí náà. Ó kù sí lọ́wọ́ bó dá wa lóhùn, bó fún wa ní access pé kájọ sọ̀rọ̀. Fine, bó fún wa access, ní sun tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. But the negotiation ṣì wà on. And ó lè máa sọ̀rọ̀ negotiation kó tún máa sọ̀rọ̀ pé ó fẹ́ jà, kò possible. Ó lè máa sọ pé ó fẹ́ negotiate kó tún ó fẹ́ jà, ìkọlù máa mú méjèèjì. So if you are one of those that is so much in a haste, you have the right. Ẹ̀yin náà set up ti yín, ẹ máa run ẹ̀ lọ. Àwọn tó run ẹ̀ lánàá níbo ló wà lẹ́nu? Ó ti wà on the run fúnra rẹ̀ báyìí. Ìyẹn Dúpọ̀ ní tìrì. Bí ṣe bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí, ó ti wà on the run. Òun fúnra rẹ̀ ti wà on the run báyìí. Gbogbo ẹnu tó ní, gbogbo ariwo tó pa, gbogbo irọ́ tó gbé kalẹ̀, ẹ̀yin idiot kan wá expect irú èmi Ọláyọmí Koiki. Koiki ẹ bá tẹ̀ ṣe accepted díẹ̀ kò ní dá fún bàbá tó bí gbogbo yín. Ẹ ní ṣoríire. Ẹ bá tẹ̀ ṣe gbà wọ́n lọ́wọ́ díẹ̀. The big question, will President Tinubu restructure Nigeria back to regional government? Self-determination, everybody knows, is a right. But àwọn oníjẹkújẹ, like I said, enjoy Aso Rock for the tenure of Tinubu máa fi lò 4 years ẹ̀. Táwọn Hausa bá dìbò fún again, fine. Tó bá dẹ̀ fún ní primary, because they will have to ask for the primaries. Tó bá fún fine, tó bá fún fine. Problem tẹ̀ ni mo kí gbogbo yín ẹ má bínú pé mo nílé dárúkọ. Very, very important program this afternoon, and I haven't got the time to start mentioning names. But mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè kí gbogbo wa, mo fi ti Jésù kí yín, mo fi kí Tànábì, mo fi kí yín, kíkí ọlá. Don't let anybody fool you. We are negotiating. There's nothing wrong in negotiating. America negotiate. Bí ọkọ̀ bá sọ fún yín pé wọ́n negotiate pẹ̀lú Tinubu, ẹ sọ fún wọn pé it's their right to negotiate. Àwọn olórí burúkú tó fi wá bá ìrìnàjò ẹ jẹ́ láàrin méjì. Àwọn ló ń kó bára wọn kò ṣàwà. Ṣẹ̀rí pàwá sì dúró. and we will still stand to the Awalani Siagbe. Don't be deceived. This is George Akinola.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
Let's read the letter quickly and then we go through the last part. From Instagram to the Mixlr is a full broadcast. We're streaming on Twitter Space, 2 YouTube channel, probably about 6 Facebook channel or thereabout. I am not on TikTok. Please don't ask me to go on TikTok. Leader of the Ilana Omo Odua. And let me explain again. Oh, Koiki, kí ni yàtọ̀ Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà àti YSDM? YSDM is just a vehicle. Baba Akintoye gangan ni Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà. Yes, Baba Akintoye is the chairman of the YSDM. Ọ̀túnba Demola is the deputy. But Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà gangan ni the major group. Wọ́n ní Ìlànà US. And if you are, I'll be bringing, I think, a repeat of their program back on the thread. But I spoke to them last week Sunday, but because of certain things I could not stream it. But we'll hopefully see if we can bring that to you and catch up. So let's read this quickly. Because sometimes people, so YSDM is where all the groups, and I think there's about 80 or 80 plus, different groups, no one like that. Excuse me, Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation. Then, Silabe YSDM, you're wasting your time, okay? Movement. A movement, you must be under a leadership. And you have every right. Okay, Brother Omoba, Biodun Grace Chapel, Musharini, Baba, Ekabo Soreto. Toba Silabe YSDM. Get in touch with Omeyo. Omeyo is the youth leader on the ground in Nigeria. Mr. Koiki, let me say this. I'm going to do a full program on Duponity. But I don't want our own to disturb the Tinubu. The Justice Spirit me ba lọ sọ́dọ̀ Duponity. I will do a full program on her. Mo ko ṣe yo méjì mẹ́ta láàrin program mi. Mo sọ fún yín pé Game Boy ni Duponity, Game Boy yẹn battery ti kú báyìí nísìn. Gbogbo tí òun àti àwọn media tó kàn sọ nísìn is just to while away time. The game has ended. But the gullible still in understanding what she tell you. And it is not going to be, it's not new in this world. Kódà ayé tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ rí àtàwọn ayé tá gbé nísìn kò sẹ́ni tó lè tẹ̀lé idiot. So don't think that Koiki àwọn kan ṣe ń gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń sọ. Oh yes, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ lọ gbọ́, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀lé wọn. It's because ààrẹ nìkan ní Kenya ṣèbí àwọn ọmọ mi kọ report lórí tó náà òyìnbó máa rí Jesus Christ. Different things has happened and different things are still happening. So don't be worrying yourself too much on them. They've done what they need to do and the game has ended. Gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì kan máa wá bá wọn, gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì kan máa bá gbogbo nonsense tó ń sọ yẹn kò sí truth kankan níbẹ̀. Bó bá ń wọ̀n kọ́ ṣe, bó bá ń wálé àlè kó ṣe program lórí Baba Akintoye, kó ṣe program lórí èmi, kó ṣe program lórí Ìgbòho, tó bá ń Ìjìnlẹ̀ kó máa ṣe program lójoojúmọ́, kò sẹ́ni tó ń wọ́ọ̀dù wọn fún yẹn. But I have told you that nothing will come out from her, and nothing will. Kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ jáde ju pé in tó ti jáde kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ jáde mọ́. She has created the false hope fáwọn èèyàn, and they have now been able. They've not been able to defend it. They've not been able to defend it. It's as simple as that. But like I said, I will be doing a program on that at my time. But I have something to educate you with. Ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ Dúpẹ́ ni kí n máa sọ lórí program? When we are negotiating, mọ̀ tó pé negotiation. Ẹ̀yin gbọ́dọ̀ participation ni. We must continue to talk about it. We must continue to explore. Okay, tí Tinubu ò bá dá wa lóhùn kí ló lè ṣẹlẹ̀? Tó bá dá wa lóhùn kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ìtọ́ ẹ̀ka máa discuss nìyẹn. Gbogbo tọ̀dọ̀ tí wọ́n yẹn Game Boy ni. Battery ti kú. Kò sí kankan níbẹ̀ mọ́. So if you're one of those expecting me pé Koiki máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Dúpọ̀ ní tirẹ̀, I haven't got that time. I don't have that energy. My energy is to educate and lecture you. Mo ti sọ fún yín pé yes, ọ̀nà púpọ̀ ló fi wọjà, but ó lè wọjà náà kó má ní any meaning. That is it. So that is on that. So I'm going to move swiftly. Now let's read that letter reply tí Bàbá Akintoye fún àwọn olórí burúkú àwọn bàbá òfò tọpẹ́ra wọn ní Afenifere ti fashion wọn ti side, not ti Bàbá Adebanji from what I'm told. So I'm gonna make sure I clarify that. And Bàbá Adebanji is still the leader of Afenifere. Problem tàwọn fashion wọn ti nìyẹn. Bàbá yẹn náà kúkú ti dàgbà ó lé ní gbogbo wọn. They are all criminals, and I have no I have mo fẹ́ gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ kalẹ̀. They are criminals. Gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ àwọn bàbá tó ní wọn ní kó sí dáṣọ wọn wà torí pé ó lè ní gbogbo wọn. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé self-determination lọ́nà ní sí, but yet they're talking about restructuring Nigeria. Lè restructure Nigeria. Àwọn kàbá tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ fáwọn òyìnbó. Let me quickly tell you where your friend is. How many of you remember this woman, Katrina? Ẹlòmíràn tẹ̀ rántí ẹ̀ mọ́. Ní rántí ẹ̀ mọ́, because the gullible Yoruba people ta sọ fún pé ẹ má gba PVC débi pé fẹ́ vote. Katrina sọ fún mi pé ká lọ vote Koiki. Ṣé mo bí tó wà nísìn? She is now a special representative of the United Nations General Secretary for Somalia. Katrina, the former UK representative tó jẹ́ High Commissioner yín, ó tún lọ sí Somalia. Ibẹ̀ ló wà báyìí nísìn. Jerry Olele. Ibẹ̀ ló wà báyìí. Mo kí ẹ Ṣẹ́gun ọ̀nà. Thank you so much. With the super chat. Àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́ bí a bunch of olófò with the message that came with the super chat. Ẹ má bínú ẹni tí mo dárúkọ. Like I said, we're just coming back and there's a lot to catch up with. Katrina baby, ó ti kúrò ní Nàìjíríà, ó ti lọ Somalia. Kí lẹ mọ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Somalia lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́? Ẹ lè mọ̀, but rẹ́rẹ́ ń rún níbẹ̀ tó ń ṣe kékeré, ìyẹn ṣe ọjọ́ tèmi. I haven't got time for that today. Mo kàn ní kí n sọ fún yín pé Katrina, the former British High Commissioner yẹn, tó ní kẹ́ lọ máa gba PVC, kẹ́ lọ máa vote, ó ti wà ní Somalia nísìnyí. Former British ambassador to Nigeria, Katrina baby. Leader of the Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, has disagreed with the leaders of the Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization Afenifere on restructuring, saying the Yoruba nation wants self-determination, not restructuring. And I'm not going to waste my time too much on that. Let's go straight to this.
State have arrested 21 suspects who are the alleged masterminds of the attack last weekend on the state government secretariat in Agodi by a group of Yoruba nation separatists. Commissioner of Police in Oyo State, Hamzat Adebola, at a briefing in Ibadan, urged parents to prevail on their words against being used as agents of instability. Our correspondent, Olutayo Famous School, has more.
These are the arrested 21 suspects named as those behind Saturday's invasion by Yoruba Nation separatists of the Oyo State seat of power, housing the governor's office and the State House of Assembly. Armed and clothed in military camouflage, these agitators allegedly hoisted their flag, Yoruba Nation flag, in place of the Nigerian flag at the said location, an action that has sent shockwaves across the nation.
On Saturday, 13th April 2024, at about 0855.
Are you
Anomo Udua, leader of the Yoruba self-determination movement, which pushes for an independent.
Within the next 20 minutes, I'll be paused in and out. I do not own or have the copyright to this video. I'm only using it for the purpose of this program this afternoon, not to share analysis. So that means I need to pause it. I will pause it so that I can come back in. But let's start with Baba Akintoye has always proved to us his capability. And the very first day I met him, I was never in doubt. And on the 28th, as at last year, my mom was in Benin Republic. This time last year, Mom seen one in Benin. This time last year. And I'll see if I can get the pictures for us in a minute. When I went home in 2021, slow. There's nothing wrong in that. The same man I met 3 years ago is still as sound as even more than the 3 years ago to meet you. Shere inte meet Baba Akintoye physically. And I can tell us officially Baba Akintoye will be coming to America. He has confirmed that last week Sunday, during the town hall meeting with the Ilano, United States of America. Baba will be in America, I believe, towards end of the year. So in America, you would have the privilege. Kódà tó bá wà ní any state tó bá wà ra ticket kókò lọ jókòó gbọ́ tí bàbá yẹn sọ má jórí gbogbo tẹ ṣe déédéé tẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yìí ó lè dàbí àtẹ́ pé gbà mí bóyá wọ́n edit ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ẹ rí i pé bàbá yẹn ó sound ó ṣe kí ni ó sound lórí ó sound lọ́pọlọ ó sound ní spiritual and you know why? Ẹni tọ́lọ̀ bá máa prepare fún àwọn kan báyìí òun ló máa prepare. So when I met him, I was never in doubt about him. Tí èèyàn bá fún wọn láyè, it can go on and on. But ìmọ̀ pàwọ́ àti mo máa fi ara àgbàlagbà wò wọ́n pé àgbàlagbà ó ti tó kí àgbàlagbà rest there. Not this man. This man is very strong. Yes, it's old. It's 89. What do you expect? Bomb bastard. Go and bring your father and let me see your father at 89. Tó bá ti kú fi picture bàbá ẹ̀ wọ̀n mi. Fi video tó wà, at least technology ti wà kó tó di pé bàbá ẹ̀ kú. Kódà video cassette wà tó ń record nígbà tẹ́ bá ń ṣe àwọn ayẹyẹ nínú ilé yín. Lọ bá mi copy ẹ̀ wá kó jẹ́ wo bàbá ẹ̀ bó ṣe rí. At 89. Mo ní dárúkọ yẹ ẹ bọ jẹ rí bàbá ẹ ẹyọ máa lè. Bàbá yẹn ti pẹ́ jù Koiki ẹ ti ń pẹ́ jù lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. Idiot all over the place. We should be grateful to have such a man in our midst. At 89. A máa ń bẹ bàbá ní táwa bá lọ sọ́dọ̀ wọn ìmọ̀ àti olóyè. Bàbá ẹ̀yẹn má tún sọ̀kalẹ̀ wá sísàlẹ̀ Bàbá ní ara exercise náà ni.
Self-governing nation for Nigerians of Yoruba extraction. Good to have you, sir, on the This Day Live, the Sunday Talk Show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well,
thank you for inviting me to come.
Thank you very much, Prof. Well, very quickly. When the incident on April 13 occurred,
if you want to make a full-time income from home working part-time, you need
persons led by Mrs. Modupe Onitiri Abiola tried to take over the government secretariat in Ibadan, and they were overpowered eventually by state authorities. Mrs. Modupe Onitiri Abiola having made a statement declaring the Democratic Republic of Nigeria, of Yoruba land, of Odua, as a sovereign nation. You reacted. You said, you were not aware of it and that these were careless people. Chief Sunday Igboho also reacted and said that these were just a bunch of insane people trying to do what they were not sent to do. However, Prof, I recall that you led the struggle for self-determination of the Yorubas. And now you condemn the splinter group called Ominira Yoruba. What is the difference between the bigger ideological movement that you lead and, the one led by Mrs. Modupe Onitiri Abiola? Could it just be that the difference is just method? Isn't the idea the same?
Well, they are not the same. We started a movement for the liberation of the Yoruba nation from Nigeria under existing laws of the international community. People don't seem to recognize that. There is a law, the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, permits every nation that wants to separate from the country that they belong to now to do so. But you have to do it peacefully. That's a provision. You cannot say because you want self-determination for your nation out of a country, you want to destabilize a country, you want to break down the peace of the country, you want to attack the laws of the country. No, that's not allowed.
Let me back Baba Akintoye from that point. What I'll be doing, because like I said, I'll be coming in between the video. Just to say to those of you that might say, Koiki, all right, sir. Restructure, no. Self-determination, no. We are pulling out of Nigeria. It's as simple as that. Let's listen to this.
Other countries were refused at first.
We have to remember, and this is a really important point, that self-determination is an inalienable international right and a law as well. And other countries will recognise Scotland's democratic choice expressed at the ballot box. They will recognise that because that is the route that many other countries have taken in order to become independent. And just to make that point, that international law is very pragmatic on that point, so we should have confidence in that. Other countries were refused at first.
Now, let's look quickly. When was the Article 51 of the United Nations Charter written? Nothing in the present charter shall impair the inherent right of individual or collective self-defense if an harm attack occurs against a member state. Baba sọ nípa the article, the United Nations Charter. I have it here as well. But let's just look from the United Nations Charter. What does it mean? In case you've never seen it before, there's what they call the United Nations Charter. Okay? The United Nations Charter is there for a purpose, and that purpose is exactly what we are doing right now. Charter of the United Nations. So when people are saying, intention, lòdì sófin, no, kò sí nǹkan tó lòdì sófin. But èyí táwọn ṣe yẹn ṣó lòdì sófin. There's a lot of people that have argued that àwọn náà ọ̀nà tó dá lọ́gbà. I'm not here to defend them. But ẹja gbọ́ etí Bàbá Akintoye ń sọ lọ. But ká tó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa United Nations Charter, in tó ti mú Nàìjíríà tọwọ́ bọbẹ̀ pé àwọn náà fọwọ́ sí o. A ti fọwọ́ sí pé ìlú tí àwa náà jẹ́ yìí o, gbogbo tí United Nations sọ nípa self-determination, right àwọn èèyàn ní o, ọmọ ènìyàn ní o. And that is why if we go to the 14 UN resolution, declaration granting multi-analysis. I've done a lot of analysis on this. Kódà mo sọ àwọn ọdún tó absent fún yín. But just for the purpose of this program this afternoon. The declaration on granting of independence to colonial countries and peoples was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on the 14th of December 1960. The deliberate location of the United Nations vote in General Assembly rather than in Security Council, where permanent members' veto would always be available. So, tí bàbá ń try láti ṣàlàyé ní kò ṣe pé ẹ má rò pé Abati ò mọ gbogbo tí bàbá ń sọ o. Abati is not a stupid man. He's not a stupid man. He's a learned man. He knows, but Nigerianness Abati ló ń lò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ because Abati was part of Jonathan's government. Gbogbo wọn ló ti jẹun bẹ́kùnbẹ́kùn ni wọ́n. So if you are thinking that Abati kò mọ tí bàbá Akintoye ń sọ, you are not understanding the whole idea. Abati mọ gbogbo ohun tí bàbá Akintoye fẹ́ sọ. Ó mọ gbogbo ibi tí bàbá Akintoye máa gbà, ọ̀nà question tó fẹ́ bí wọ́n, ó mọ ibi tí bàbá Akintoye máa lọ, but ó ń play ìtàn pè ní Nigerianness. Torí pé òun náà ti jẹ lára gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì rẹ̀, and they are still part of the government one way or the other, because as far as we're concerned, these are not independent media organization at all. The movement
that I lead is an intellectual, sophisticated movement, disciplined, and no member, not a single person in the entire movement, and we are in the millions all over the world. We are in the millions. Not a single one of us will do what Mrs. Abiola did, what Onitiri did. Not a single one of us. She and her people were entirely on their own. They are not part of us, and we are not part of them in any way. Our struggle for self-determination has been pursued peacefully. We started in 2019, and this is 2024.
How did we start it? Let's listen to this.
The Yoruba-speaking tribe of Nigeria has been accepted as the 45th member of the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization. Leader of the Yoruba World Congress, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, says the membership represents a very important step in the collective quest of well-meaning Yoruba people to achieve the goal of dignity and self-determination.
It is my great pleasure and pride to inform you that the Yoruba nation has been admitted to the membership of UNPO. UNPO means Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, with its headquarters in The Hague. The UNPO expressed their gladness to welcome the Yoruba nation as a new member of UNPO, and they are looking forward to working with us. It is important because it is a great stride and it represents a very important step in our collective quest to achieve the goal of dignity in the country in which we live, and also to achieve the goal of self-determination for our nation. Our Yoruba nation now has a voice on the international stage via the...
That is what many of you don't understand. The voice at the international stage. What the template? Hey, what the structure? I'm going to end this program in just 10 minutes. There will be continuation. We cannot end it in one go. Book of F20, some of the debrief. Because when we are here saying that Baba Itoko Kolosi UNPO, there's difference between the UNPO and United Nations. There is a massive difference. But àwọn ìlú kan náà ti lo UNPO yẹn náà láti fi stabilize torí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé lọ́jọ́ kan máa dé tí àbàtì á máa bí bàbá pé kí ni right yín. Or as some of you are also asking today, kí ló dé tá àti gba Yorùbá nation? It's because we are not yet in the violent or anarchist stage. It is a non-violent, that means there is negotiation. And negotiation means that we wrote Buhari, he didn't answer us. He refused to answer us. Does not mean that we're not going to write Tinubu. We've written Tinubu now, and Tinubu would have to answer us. So that is how far we'll be going this particular afternoon. It's almost 2 hours, 52 minutes. That is the much I can take. I'll be back again some other time. But as we say here on this platform, if you're not sure, you can ask. But don't be stupid by saying that our right will not be given to us. Nobody can take that right away from us. Our right to self-determination is now, and nobody can stop it. As always, as I say, I am just playing my role from the media side of things. And that role will continue to be used, at least for those online. What is going to happen after the 15th of January, I don't have that on my desk. But Tinubu have up to the 15th of June, to respond back to our letter according to the leaders of the movement. He can decide to at least acknowledge. So Tinubu, the Nigeria federal government shall within the next 2 months, but not later than June 15th, 2024, inform us, Yoruba self-determination movement, that the Nigerian federal government has previously agreed to our proposal for negotiation. They don't have to agree. Government ní Tinubu, movement làwa. Government kan ṣáà ti wá tẹ́lẹ̀ rí tó lọ. So it won't make much difference. It will be in the interest of Tinubu. But tó bá ń tó náà bá sọ pé bí Buhari ṣe ṣe lòun náà máa ṣe, so be it. So be it. There's nothing we can do to that. We cannot drag it. The real method that the bad president is not artificial. The letter has been communicated, and we wait for him to come back to us. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you so much for those of you that have the privilege to join us today. My name is OLAYOMI Koiki. Yoruba Nation has come. No one can stop it. You can try, but you can't. I am just one out of millions of Yoruba people that wants to be free. Hey, stop ẹ̀ka kan. Ẹ̀ka tó pọ̀ ní Yoruba Nation. So if you think that you can stop me, you cannot stop others. And if you think you can stop others, you cannot stop me. There is a difference between a movement and a political party. Anshi political party, Anshi PDP, Anshi APC, Anshi AAC, Anshi Labour Party. We are called self-determination movement. Movement. M-O-V-E-M-E-N-T. Ìtọ́ṣe pè ní movement nìyẹn. Mo kí gbogbo lé o. Yorùbá nation no going back. Mo kí Bàbá Akintoye. Mo kí Igboho. Mo kí Ọ̀túnba Túnmọ́lá. Mo kí gbogbo organisation kankan tí wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun láì yọ ẹnìkankan sílẹ̀. Mo kí inú sí mi. Mo kí àwọn ìyàwó mi. Mo kí àwọn ọmọ tó bí. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá láì yọ ẹnìkankan sílẹ̀. Thank you so much. Bye for now.